free. We have a video chat going on with that I will be posting to my YouTube. And like I said, this is basically just like a really like fun like overview of like market sentiment, what's going on with the market, news, a chance for you guys to ask questions. I'm the bridge that goes from the core team to the community and vice versa. Please just like let me know. Like feel free to put into chat any questions. Feel free to come off chat, come off mute, and ask any questions. If you are getting server muted, it is because you are hot miking, and just out of respect for everybody else in the channel, I'm going to server mute you. But if you come back and you do want to ask a question, feel free to tag me. Let me know, and I will be more than happy to help out and get you situated and all that good stuff. Without further ado, I think I'm going to go ahead and get started. I know people are going to pop in here. Like I said, this can run most of these AMAs that are upcoming. For all those that didn't hear from before, these AMAs are basically used to just give you guys an ability to speak with someone from the core team every single day. That has to do with different things. We've got one with Groot about collabs. We'll tell you about what's going on with the future collabs. We have one with G on Thursday, and this one will entail just what's going on with the server, what's going on with the community. You can bring general issues, you can bring like things, improvements, requests. If you want another channel name or you think another channel, text channel is just completely redundant, let us know that. On Friday, we've got our boy Sav in the house. He's going to be we're gonna have some fun and some fitness with him. He's gonna do fitness tips, diet tips, all that good stuff. Just trying to stay healthy while we're still sitting behind our computers. One good way to do that is fitness and be able to do diet tips. Um, so that's going to be that, and we're also going to have some fun in games. I think there'll be some whitelist spots that will be going out during that for upcoming projects. I'm not exactly sure all that stuff. I'm sure Sav will let you know, and maybe I'll get some more details. On Saturday, we have Josh in the house, a resident mental health expert or psychologist. He actually, that's his Web 2 job is what he's done. He's an amazing guy. Like I had never really spoken with Josh before. I spoke with Josh recently, and during our trip, and the man is he's just a gift. Like he's awesome. He's so open and welcoming, easy to approach. I know that sometimes it's tough when you're talking about psychology and we're all, hiding behind our keyboards and whatnot. But Josh is here to help us get through the tough times. We're going through a bear market right now. There's all these other kind of like, things that have to do with what's going on with the mental health, and even you can use mental health to even learn how to make playing and trading strategies based on how the market is and all of that good stuff. And then Sunday, which we're going to try to do every single Sunday, will be a town hall meeting with Jamie and Sham, and this is your time to just come and hear the founders' voices and be able to voice your concerns. The main thing is that we want to make sure everyone has like the ability to speak with us, and I want to make sure that one of the worst things about buying an NFT and then hopping into a project is that sometimes you get in there and you really feel like you don't have a voice, and that is the opposite of what Godjira is all about. We're bringing it back to our roots. What made Godjira so amazing and so lovable was the ability to speak to the entire team and have that open line of dialogue, which I loved so much. And we're bringing that back, and we realize that it hasn't been the best recently, and there's been a lot of different factors. No point in having excuses. What we're gonna do is we're going to not do excuses, and we're going to show you guys by improving and doing things instead of talking a bunch. And I say that while I'm right here now talking a bunch, which is like actually kind of hilarious, but that's all good. Without further ado, if you guys have anything that you want to say right now, go ahead and chat. I will read it out loud so that people that are listening to the recording or watching the video on YouTube, they will be able to understand what the question you're asking. Like I said, feel free to come off mute and ask anything. Like, I do not care. The only stupid question is the question that you do not ask. If you have something that's bothering you, one of the biggest issues with human beings in general is A, people can't take criticism well, and B, they feel like they look dumb by asking certain questions. That stigma needs to go away, because you can ask anything. I'm super approachable. If you guys have ever been in an AMA with me before, I'm literally here for you guys. I will literally stay as long as you guys want me to stay here. I will literally answer every single question you guys ask. I have cleared several hours today where I'll be able to do this. We can have just a really chill session. I really love these things where we can kind of just go back and forth, and I hope some people will come off will come off mute and just like kind of have an open discussion. I am not an expert by no means. I do not know everything that is out there. The Web3 world is so huge and expansive that there's projects that you guys know a lot about and love dearly, and I have no freaking clue about them. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and start with some just general, news that's been going on over the past week. And like I said, feel free to chime in at all if you have anything. I just see my boy Maverick came in here, and we've got a lot of amazing names in the crowd right now, which I'm so honored and so happy to have you guys here. So thank you guys so much for showing up. This means the world to me. It means the world to Godjira that you guys are out here supporting. But this is also like stuff to add even more value to what we already have here in Godjira. So I'm going to go ahead and go through some things that have happened. If you guys knew about it already, all good. If not, guess what? We're all learning together and we're growing in this space. And that's why I love Web3 so damn much. Um, so recently, the weekend, the music group, or it's like one person actually, he entered the NFT space and bought 40 ETH worth of fuck render NFTs. It's looking like this has potentially caused a pump within the fuck crystal ecosystem, and the floor has actually changed 66% over the last 7 days, which is actually when we, as we all know, when something's not just worth 0.05, 66% of 0.05 is a way smaller pump in our eyes versus something that's worth like several ETH. And Lady Magic, did you have something to say, or hot miking? All good either way. Um, but also another thing that happened recently is that Gucci actually started accepting ApeCoin as a payment, which is really good for the NFT space. It's gonna give us some more widespread adoption when we start having the ability to use use different like things from different ecosystems and using Web3 to pay for Web2, which is kind of like farther bridging the gap between Web2 and Web3. And I think that's like one of the biggest like challenges, and one of the things that's going to really help the NFT space a lot in the future is to be able to do this kind of stuff. And I was actually kind of laughing about this Gucci thing because people who went to Ape Fest, you'd think at Ape Fest you'd be able to buy stuff in ApeCoin, or even maybe even spend ETH, but they did not have the ability to this. But here's Gucci right now, making it one of the top premier premium brands out there in the world, is offering up the ability to pay in ApeCoin, which is pretty impressive. And I'd say that's really a good thing for what's going on here. And just like I said, further making it better and better, that we're going to get more and more widespread adoption. And it's just all that is very good for the ecosystem, for Web3, for the advancement of Web3, with all these scams and rug pulls that we've been seeing, especially with this free mint meta. And I've been talking about it a lot, is that the free mint meta, it's great and it's fun and it's very degen. And degen kind of plays into Web3 heavily. But the thing is that everybody's chasing the next Goblin Town. And I'm not saying there's never going to be another Goblin Town, but the problem is that FOMO creates mistakes. People don't think. People just want to, buy first and ask questions later. And the problem with that is that oftentimes people are preying on like people like us that are FOMOing after the next Goblin Town. Next thing you know, you forget that you're not using your burner wallet, and then all of a sudden your wallet gets drained. And guess what? We're very, very sad because we were trying to mint a free mint that probably was going to just go to zero. Most of those free mints go to zero. You can make rice on them like 0.05. And to me, especially in a bear market, this is actually like, 0.05 is money. And it's actually, some people say, oh, it's not worth it if it's not that much, but you get 0.05 here, zero point zero 0.05 there, a zero point 0.1 there, blah, 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 blah. And then after a week of, making these kind of trades, all of a sudden you've made a half of ETH. I mean, you know, and that right now what's ETH at is it's like a 1700 around there, and we're talking about like $850 is a half of the ETH over a week's pay. I mean, so like in some countries that's amazing. In the United States, depending on where you live, it's not too much money, but it's legit money, and I don't ever shame anyone for trying to make those kind of trades and make that kind of rice. I think it's a big deal, and I think it's really important for people to be able to do that. But that's the thing is, if you guys are chasing the free mint meta, and even with Tata's stuff, like, we don't always know everything about all the mints that we're bringing out here. Everything needs to be not just do your own research, but use a burner wallet, because you don't really need any ETH in that wallet. You just need enough for gas. So make sure you guys create a burner wallet for your degen mints, or for any mints for that matter. Honestly, you can always transfer like ETH just enough to pay for a mint in there. You never know. This is the frustrating thing about Web3, is so the people see, people FOMOing and they want to prey on that, and that's just a sad thing. So in another news, crypto dick butts. I always laugh whenever I talk about this one, and I even look at the project itself. It's like cracks me up. But recently it pumped. I think it was on Sunday. They pumped up to over 3 ETH, which is actually a really impressive pump considering everything's a bit down right now. And just over the last like couple weeks, things are even down even more. Even with ETH going up to 1700, even almost touching 1800. I can't remember exactly if that happened or not, but I think that it was somewhere in that realm. Not really 100% sure what caused this crypto dick butt pump, but I think that it had something to do with a prominent Bitcoiner who has like well over 250K Twitter followers, made a tweet about it, and that could have been a catalyst. Like, you never know. I think that tweets from influencers, or well-known people like in the Web3 space, don't hold as much power as they used to. I mean, there was a time where you could literally follow with notifications on Gary Vee's account. If he mentioned a project and you were there immediately and you bought it and listed it, you could make money pretty much constantly. I do not think that any one person has that much power. Maybe changing a profile picture to something, which is going to lead me into one of the analytics tools that I'm going to teach you guys about. And I'm also going to try to get a demo here in the server from some people from the team of this project, or this platform, I should say, called inspect.xyz. I'm sharing my screen. You guys can see it. I will talk more about it. I would like to get through all this news stuff. There's a lot of really cool and interesting things coming out that you might not care too much about all this news, but like more news about the widespread adoption. I keep on going back over that. It's really important for Web3, is more and more Web2 trying to dip into Web3, and the more times that they are successful, the better it's going to be to the longevity of Web3. And I know that we're all in this channel right now rooting really, really, really hard for Web3 to do well. And I for one, am just like, I'm a big proponent in that. So, like I said, going off of what with that, one of the biggest Web2 brands, the biggest coffee brand out there. My girlfriend loves Starbucks. She drinks it all the time, and they're trying to enter the Web3 um, ecosystem, and they're going to have coffee themed NFTs. Supposedly, not just art, but it's also going to provide access to exclusive content and other, valuable things within the Starbucks ecosystem. There still is not too much known about this. We're still waiting on to hear more details about it. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but I mean, Starbucks dipping their toe in, as well as other really, really big brands. That's humongous for the NFT space. So that's gigantic. Also, another really crazy thing has happened is the Major League Soccer just recently announced the signing of a striker, which is actually named Striker. It's a Bored Ape NFT. It's actually Bored Ape Yacht Club number 6045. They bought it for 100 ETH. which is now, I think Bored Ape is now down to like 85 ETH around there. But this striker will be making its virtual debut on the MLS's All-Star game tomorrow, actually August 10th, as the league's newest All-Star. I'm not really sure how that is going to go. I think it's really cool. I'm looking forward to checking it out. I don't really watch MLS here in the United States. I do watch some Premier League and English Premier League, as well as the Bundesliga and also La Liga, and all I love watching those. I'm not a huge football fan. I should call it football, because then if I call it soccer, I reek of American. So I'll try to like be cooler than that, and say football. And so I think that's a really cool thing. And I don't know, who knows what the hell it could mean with that. I really don't know. They obviously overpaid for their Bored Ape, but like I said, over the last couple weeks, a lot of projects are down even lower, and we're talking like blue chips. I will touch on some of these projects a little bit later, because there's some possibly really good buys out there right now. With some blue chips going down, and most of these blue chips do recover once the market starts to recover a bit. In other news, one of the biggest, like the worst things in my opinion, is some of the celebrities that don't belong in the NFT space that are popping in here and using their social media platforms to pump certain kind of like scammy projects. They get paid a lump sum or get a percentage of the mint, almost like an advisor, but not an advisor at all, just a celebrity shiller, I guess, is the best way to say it. Is Kim Kardashian, Paul Pierce, and Floyd Mayweather were named on a lawsuit recently over the project called Ethereum Max, which is like I was saying, it was a very scammy type of project. Any of us here in Godjira could look at that and be like, oh cool, like there's some celebrities that have not shit to do with the Web3 world, and they're over here shilling this stuff. The people that filed this lawsuit are basically saying that they used social media shilling from these celebrities, and it caused them to undergo investment losses. So that's another thing that's going on out there. IG is actually adding more widespread adoption for NFTs on their platform. It's actually on the Flow blockchain, which it has a Flow token, which recently, I think over the last week, pumped. It like surged like 50% after this announcement of Instagram adding this support to it, and it's basically all it is. Kind of a little bit like I'd say, kind of how Twitter is. You can verify your NFT and you can see that it's verified. IG is basically allowing Flow NFTs to be verified and like letting people on Instagram highlight them as their profile picture or whatnot. As we all know, another thing that happened, I think it was when we were doing the Singapore event or whatever, it was the Minecraft ban of NFTs using their platform. But what has come up from that is that the NFT world's obviously, I think everyone knows, probably one of the hardest crashes we've ever seen in such a short period of time. It was, NFT worlds is something that was up to 10 to 15 Ethereum during the best of the times, and crashed like heavy and during the bear market, and then it recently crashed even more to below an ETH, and that was like the first time it's been like that since its inception. But they're not giving up, and I've always thought that the NFT Worlds team was really, really, really talented, and they have a lot of amazing, you know, like team members there. They have a lot of amazing developers. They have a really cracked team, and this is definitely going to put them back a little bit. But they have announced that they have brought some of the top developers in from the Minecraft development ecosystem to work with them, which is obviously an amazing thing. Hopefully, we don't how many people they brought in. We don't know. We don't know the full on details, but apparently the community is in full support in NFT Worlds because of how high up their mint was. I think it started as a free mint. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it started as a free mint, and they have a war chest because I think their royalties are 10% that they bring in for every single um, sale. And so they have a hefty war chest right now that they're able to dip into, that's going to get them through this process, through the bear market, and through the process of creating something kind of like how Sandbox built. The thing is that Sandbox took like 4 years to develop their alpha version. So NFT Worlds has like, a long road ahead of them. And unfortunately, with this type of stuff, you can't really rush any product like this because we all know that when you rush stuff in the NFT world, um, ecosystem, or even in the NFT space, as a whole, Web3, you are going to, run into FUD. And if the product's not perfect, then people are going to fudge you because you rushed it. And then people are going to fudge you if you don't come out quick enough. So it's like one of those like double-edged swords that I kind of feel bad for NFT Worlds that they're going to have to go through that. But like I said, Sandbox took 4 years to get an alpha version. So they've got a long road ahead of them. I know that they have a crack team there. They also brought in Minecraft development, like some of the top developers from that ecosystem there. So all bullish things. I just don't know how this is going to really affect NFT world, NFT, like the actual NFT, the token itself. But yeah, it's interesting stuff because everyone thought that NFT Worlds is dead in the water, and instead of just like putting up the flag and giving up, they're actually going to push forward and try to like bring something for everyone. Moonbirds had some big news recently. They made all their NFTs public domain. The CC's, I think it's CC0, is otherwise known as, basically it's like Creative Commons. It's like, simply put, it's just no rights reserved on any intellectual property. This is basically like a form of copyright that allows creators to like waive legal interest in their work and move it as far as possible into the public domain. This basically means that anyone that can use a Moonbird's NFT art freely without copyright restrictions, they can, this kind of is where the Moonbirds 2, I don't know if it was V2 or it was Moonbirds 2, got released. And before, they were kind of pulling down projects that were trying to use the intellectual property for Moonbirds. And then I guess Kevin Rose thought this was like a good idea. This actually caused a relatively large dump in the project. I think it's down to 15 ETH maybe is last time I checked. But this is very interesting. If you are a huge Moonbird, like long term, I don't think it really affects the Moonbird ecosystem. I mean, like they're still doing their roadmap, they're still everything with Proof Collective and all that stuff. They're still pushing forward with all of that good stuff. That's amazing and great. But as far as this goes, I don't really know if this affects too many people. I'm not sure how many people really care about having the intellectual property of their, like, owning the rights to their intellectual property of their NFT. I mean, some we've heard of some Bored Apes being wanting to use the intellectual property, like I mentioned earlier with the Major League Soccer. That's using the intellectual property of that Bored Ape. If you own Bored Ape number 6045, you can use that as play it into a virtual all-star game and whatnot. But with Moonbirds, anybody can use it. You could just take it, you can make derivatives, you can, chop, screw, do whatever the hell you want to with a Moonbird and send it out there, and Kevin Rose and the team won't do anything about it. I think that he was trying to play into the whole decentralized, good for Web3 thing, and it like was good and bad and good and bad, and it's always going to be like that. No matter how much you try to make the NFT space happy, you're going to have the issues and people are going to FUD no matter what. But that was some of the biggest news, honestly, for Moonbirds right there. Also, Magic Eden just made an announcement for the very first time. They will be adding ETH to this platform. It's the first blockchain to be added besides Solana, which it's strictly a Solana marketplace. And it's actually valued well over $1 billion. Like I think it's like 1.5 or something like that. I mean, it's the major main area, like, place for Sol. It's the spot. So to go off of what we're talking about with Sol, I'm not sure how much you guys were into the Solana Summer. Solana Summer was a bit short-lived. I think that Goblin Town and the free mint meta kind of put a stop to that a bit. There are some, big Sol maxis out there that love this stuff. We got D Gods are absolutely like soaring. They're like the Bored Ape of Solana. And you've got OK Bears and Cats on Crack, and I'm not sure some other projects. Let's see, Solana Monkey Business is out there, Primates, a lot of good stuff out there. DeGods definitely are the top one. They are worth 317 floor price for Solana. That is a great deal of money. And in comparison, OK Bears is 57, around 57 ETH floor price right now. Yes, the Baroku Dragons also is a big one there. They are definitely one of the big top ones. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know much about Solana. It's not something I've gone into Relic, but yeah, all those are definitely bigger projects. But OpenSea recently, started bringing that stuff on, and then we got Magic Eden bringing ETH on. So, I mean, I don't know. It's good. It's just good all the way around. More and more adoption, making it easier for people to kind of dip in. I mean, I don't think that you should be gated by what blockchain it's on. If you support and you believe in a project, if you like the team, if you like what the roadmap is, and you like kind of the future of what they're trying to bring to Web3, then I think it should be easy for everyone to get into it. And I know that, sometimes things are gated by, you have to go to Solana, you have to get a Phantom wallet and all of that good stuff. And it makes it a little bit more difficult. And it's honestly it feels like really weird to have a digital wallet. I've talked to in another project I was like working with a bit is the Superfest, and that project has a lot of brand new people in here, and I forgot how scary and daunting Web3 can be at the beginning when you're getting your wallet and you're putting in thousands of dollars, and somewhere in the little particles of the Web3s, going from your Coinbase to your wallet, and you just get scared, and it's very daunting, I must say, because even for me, I check the address when I'm changing stuff from Coinbase to my wallet, and then vice versa. It's very daunting. So all of this kind of stuff is definitely like very good for Web3. Is just kind of like expanding and pushing it out there. And after me saying that, I'm going to touch on that the biggest hack ever to hit Solana, and I think it's probably the biggest like hack specifically to hot wallets that's ever happened in the Web3 space. Don't quote me on that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's $8 million that was drained from around 8,000 wallets, which is just unbelievable. And this is one of those things where it's like didn't even matter what you did or anything like that. These wallets, hot wallets were affected. People were able to figure out a way to hack it. And it had something to do with like there was something about GitHub, and a lot of like the code was being pulled from there, and they really don't know. They're still unclear exactly how it went down, and it's not specific to just Phantom wallets, because Phantom is like MetaMask but for Solana. So they're not sure if most of those were Phantom wallets, but they're still unclear if it was just specific to Phantom wallets. But I don't think that it is. So that's definitely obviously a shitty thing to have happen. Um, Sodakova, like, what's your question? Go ahead and ask it. Feel free to just like throw it in there, and I will get to it for sure. I'm just now seeing. I
Oh,
forgot that they actually have threads within the voice channels. But go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
okay. Hi. I just want to ask what are your thoughts on Rare PayPay Club? I saw that it's trending and it's top now on OpenSea.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people actually. Someone's in here, Mafia Boss. I think that he actually has one, and he got an offer recently, and it was like, nah, hell no, I ain't accepting that. So I think a lot of people are hopping on that. It's kind of like feels like a Pepe version of like some Bored Apes. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
too much about it, but Mafia Boss, if you want to shed some light on it, feel free to. But
Uh, the Pepe,
yeah,
because it's just I think it's the meme. The
yep.
meme. There's lots of board ape buying recently. I think,
So that's like
and
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like one of the things that I always tell people is you follow smart money. Smart money meaning whales. I don't always say like don't follow influencers on what they mint and what they buy, but when you follow smart money with people that are like in the scene and they like really understand it, and when you see a bunch of bored apes, when you see a bunch of bored apes buying in, like collectively, sometimes like that's like a collective like a mind, like a hive mind. Everyone's like, yo, we're gonna get in on this the Pepe and just do it for the meme and whatever. But I think that's what it is. That's what I was gonna say is it's more for the meme more than anything. Same with Goblin Town, all that stuff. So like the meme sells just as well as an amazing roadmap and an amazing team. I can't believe I'm saying that. It just like man, it fucking drives me nuts. But it is what it is. So I don't know, Soda, does that help answer your question a bit? It's definitely been trending and a lot of people have been buying it.
Yeah.
It feels like a low risk, play. One of those ones where you're kind of like seeing some bored apes buying in. And actually, if you're looking at my screen right now, I can actually show you something about.
Sure.
Say, is this it?
Hmm.
What's it? What's the name of it again? It's Pepe.
Rare
Oh yeah,
ape.
that one is what
Yeah.
it is. Rare. Yeah, the ape Pepe. So one thing that I obviously I love. Wow, this is definitely searched a lot. So like one thing that I like about NFTnerds a lot that's probably within the last month or two that they added is this little
Mm-hmm.
icon right here. If you look and you see this little like I think it's supposed to be representing a whale, but it's green. But if you're looking at this, and you can actually like see which whales are selling and which whales are buying. So like when you see lots of buys from people who have this icon next to it, this person owns 10 Cyberkongs. I'm not sure if that means that they own babies or whatnot, but still, they own 3V Friends, which is like predominantly a very, very, very well-known project by Gary V. But when you see people like this buying, then this is like a good indicator. Obviously, there's not a ton of them right now, I don't see. But this doesn't mean that bored apes aren't buying it. It's just that your wallet with that bored ape is not buying this, your rare Pepe, ape Pepe, however you want to say it. But this is a cool feature. So you can always use this as an indicator. And when you see a lot of whales dumping, that is an
Yeah.
indicator that that price is most likely going to plummet because when whales are dumping, whales aren't dumping one. Whales are dumping like handfuls of them. And that's always
Mm-hmm.
been like an issue. So if you see a lot of whales on this side of the listings, if you see a lot of them on that side, then that's an indicator that the price will not will. I can't say there's no guarantees. Like anything can happen in Web3, but we can use these analytics to help us kind of guide our path through Web3. I'm trying to look down through here, not too many. Some of the stuff you see a lot in there, but this person actually owns a bored ape. This one that bought recently, but it's like one of those things. Like this is pumped a lot. I feel like if you're looking at this, the trades over the last, damn, this is pumped. Yeah, this is pumped a lot over the last like day or two. Lots of volume. One thing that I like to look at is the momentum chart, and the way you do this is you set a threshold. The easiest way to do that, if you don't want to type it, you can always just go to one of these bars inside the cell walls and click it. Say you want to see like what's the momentum going towards 1 ETH, and right here
Yeah.
you can tell over the last like couple minutes. This is actually in 5 minute increments. This is basically saying that in the it's like since this is Central Time Zone, but if you've never seen this before, purple lines are good, red and green lines are bad. Just to be like as basic as I can possibly explain it. But this is really a good way for when you're doing momentum trading, when you're seeing like high volume, and I'm talking not just high volume over the course of 24 hours, I'm talking about high volume over like 15 minutes. But you can kind of
Yeah.
see how many listings are coming in. A green bar indicates a new listing. A red bar indicates something that's relisted lower than what it was, also known as an undercutter. But when you start to see a lot of these bars right here, and see this line that's attached right here, when this
Yeah.
line, the farther this line is from zero, the worse it is. So like when you're like down here with this line, this is indicating that like in that 1 minute increment, literally 6 new listings have come in and only one sale. When you have more listings coming in or like relistings coming in versus the number of sales coming in, that's an obvious indicator that the price is most likely going to start going down. As far as the floor price goes. Does that make sense? If that doesn't make sense to anyone, I can re-explain it. I think this is one of the greatest tools that's on NFTnerds. I'm not sure if other projects have it, but I know that they had it first because any other project that came through and was an analytical tool, I was literally telling people, I was like, yo, you need this momentum stuff. This is like actually such an amazing thing. So think
This is
about
pretty
what?
read.
Sorry, I was talking. What did you say?
uh, what?
Go ahead, Soda. Sorry, I was talking over you.
Oh no, I was thank you for that. Yeah. It's more practical for me to read now.
No, absolutely. And so like these and this is one of the problems is like these little buttons over here, these are missed. Like they're so missed. Like you can't see this. So like if you want to see if you're like looking at a project, say we're looking at rare 8 Pepe and we're like trying to see like let me like watch it over like 15 minutes to see like how the momentum is. If you're looking at it and you're watching this and you're just constantly seeing red and green bars. See, a green bar just came in, so that means a new listing came in right then. Let me scroll up. And so you can see, so 30 seconds ago, 1 minute ago, you're seeing a lot of listings coming in. These are all within like the last 30 minutes, every single one of these listings. These like are all literally driving the price down. So this price was way down, and you can see right here if you look at the chart over the last 30 minutes or so, we can see it went up and it's starting to come down, and the price has gone down. So now we're down to 0.69, and I'm looking at this and like every indicator, unless some whale comes in and sweeps 15 of these things, like right now, you're looking at a downtrend. It's literally like cut and dry. Like it's literally just like obvious. Like I
Yeah.
said, green means new listings. Purple or blue, whichever color you want to call this. I still have no clue what color this really is. What color do you think it is, Soda?
Sorry?
I'm trying to figure out what color this is. I say it's purple a lot of times, but I feel like it's also blue. This bar right here, which means it's a sale. So one of the things that I
Blue.
always like to
Blue.
yeah, okay, blue. So like blue, so like when you see a lot of blue bars, and they're way bigger than what the green and the red bars are, you're obviously that's when you're gonna have momentum and you're gonna see the floor price is gonna start going up. It's just like that simple. It's like it's an indicator that just like is like tells you exactly someone's hot micing. Isco, I'm gonna server meet you. So what?
Yeah.
I guess he left.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your question though, Soda. I'll touch more on this stuff here in a second. This is really good stuff, and I feel like a lot of people are like Zircon is saying in chat is he's like been underutilizing NFT nerds. It's like everybody sees what NFT nerds is. They're like, okay, cool. I clicked on the project and I can see the listings and the trades, and you like basically look at this graph and you're like, what the hell is this rarity rank thing? Like this.
Quite similar to the other one that Godjira recommended me, the Block Pro. It's something like this, but I think this one is a little bit better. I can see the chart and the ranking all at once.
Yeah, I love this one. This interface, in my opinion, it can do no wrong. I can't change this
Okay.
interface. I love it. Like I love I don't have to turn it to dark mode. It's already in dark mode. That's like one of my favorite things. I love being able to see the listings and the trades side by side. I love being able to see the pending transactions. Someone's buying this one right now. We can highlight it. We can see exactly what their gas price is, how long their transaction's been going for. You can also see when people are competing for other so like if something gets listed and all these you could see I've seen something with 20 pending transactions before. So if you see that and you're like, "Hey, I want to buy that." Do you want to hop in to battle have a gas war with someone?
Yeah.
Most likely not. So these
Yeah.
are all really really cool things on this platform that I like love so much. I'm not saying that other platforms don't do it well also, but I'm like right now an NFT Nerds maxi, but when Jira Tools comes out, I'm going to be exclusively and only using Jira Tools because I have been working with them and I've been told them that they need to make sure that it is as close and has all the features that NFT Nerds has, or it will not survive. And the reason is that NFT Nerds is so ahead of the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about them is they have a really good platform. And oftentimes when people have a great platform and have an amazing analytical tool or anything, they sit and they just like they're like, okay, cool, we have what everyone wants, and they're just like, cool, that's awesome, everyone's happy. NFT Nerds' Discord is one of the best places to go and tell them suggestions. They listen to the community and they will change and they will do things to better their tool. And that's why we're seeing all these new features. Like that
Mm-hmm.
pending transaction, that never existed when I first started using them. That the momentum chart never existed when I was first using it. If you look on the side right here, you see this red and green,
Right.
and there is some gray ones usually. I don't see any right now, but basically these are indicating that this is red is saying that this is a relisting. So you can kind of
Yeah.
get an idea if you see like,
Morris, Morris, hey.
uh, who's that?
What?
Hot mics. It's always the most difficult thing to do in here is to do these kind of little VCs because people can hot mic and whatnot. But I can't share my screen on the stage, which sucks. And I also want people to have the ability to just chime in, like you, Soda, to come in and have a discussion and kind of
Yeah.
lead the conversation to what you guys want, not what Zerocool wants to teach you guys. So um, I'm very happy to do this. Like I said, this is a new feature showing if it's been relisted or if it's a new listing is a new feature. Also, you can go up here, you can click all marketplaces, and this is not all marketplaces, but OpenSea, Looks Rare, and X2Y2 is supported on here, so you can buy from all of those platforms through NFT
Yeah.
Nerds. That was not always a thing. I thought that was something that was very lacking, and I didn't understand why they weren't doing that. Tish, we do not have a time. I will not give a timeline for Jira Tools. The beta is very, very close to being ready. I will be streaming several sessions on different time zones to make sure everybody is learning about Jira Tools because, in my honest opinion, it will be my go-to, and I will not renew my subscription to NFT Nerds for the Jira tools. I'm working with Alex and his team, Awin, and his team to make sure that this is going to be the best possible tool for you guys, and we will be using it. And not only will I be using it here, I will be using it in other partner projects of Godjira, such as Dante Walker, and teaching it there, so people are burning Jira token to subscribe to this, which I think is a much better way. Um,
Oh, right. Is this like 0.25 a month or something on NFT Nerds? I just
it's actually
is it?
they have sales that you can have. I think it's like point 0.1 something if
Oh,
you get it
okay.
on sale for 1 month. If you for 6 months, it's 0.35. I think it's point 0.6 for an entire year. So right
Okay.
now, given ETH prices, back when I subscribed to this, it was like ETH was like 3,000 or so, maybe a little
Yeah.
bit more. And so it obviously costs a lot more, but they don't. I don't think they changed their pricing based on ETH price. So
Okay.
if you're wanting an analytical tool right now, I would say this is a great one to get. Maybe get like a month or two. I feel like the Jira
Mm-hmm.
tools is not going to be very far away. We will be having community members be able to beta test this. No promises on the number, but I'm going to be pushing heavy to make sure that I'm not the only one that's going to be beta testing it because I'm not the best at this stuff. I do use this stuff a lot and I talk about it a lot, so that's why I do these kind of sessions. I feel like you were saying and other people in chat, Zircon, everyone's underutilizing this product, and it's like you're paying 0.35 for 6 months of something and you're only getting like zero point 0.1 worth of it because you're not using all the great like features of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like obviously frustrating and makes me want to do more sessions like these. And feel free to ask any questions ever. You can tag me in chat ever if you have a question about NFT nerds. I'm more than happy to help out. Like I said, this momentum chart is like so underutilized. People don't realize that you need to click this little like graph button right here to get to it. You can also see listing history. This is kind of a little bit similar to, it shows like how many listings are coming on over a short amount of time. So it's like there's 300 listings, and when you start seeing it go down, when you get a supply shock, that starts to cause the price to go up because there's less. It's just like it's just simple economics. When there's supply and demand, lack of supply, no, lack of demand could cause the supply to go up, and then demand, and just you get it. Like, I don't have to necessarily explain this, but like I said, the momentum chart's really good for. My favorite is to say I'm like you were saying, should I invest in this, and when should I invest in the rare 8 Pepe? When you watch
Mm-hmm.
this little momentum chart over several over an hour, you can kind of see the direction of it. I mean, we're already seeing since we came on here, it was at point 0.7. We're already
Mm-hmm.
seeing 0.68 listings coming through, and obviously that is X2 Y2. Oftentimes I don't feel like those play nearly as much into causing the price to go down because most people buy off OpenSea. But
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of people now understanding. Like, if I refresh this page and I've never clicked these other ones, people are not going to know to click these. So people are only going to be using NFTnerds, and they're only going to be seeing OpenSea listings. So when you come
Yeah.
to this page, you literally have to go here and click these, and make those blue. And when you make those blue, then you're going to get the listings from those. Actually, kind of shocking that the majority of these are OpenSea. I'm not even seeing, like, I've seen like maybe a handful of X2 Y2 and looks rare, which is, it doesn't really mean anything. X2Y2 has the lowest marketplace fees that are taken out. They do 0.5%. That's why Godjira works really closely with X2Y2 because you make more money on there. So you'll often see people list on X2Y2 lower than on OpenSea. And that's the reason is because the marketplace fee is 0.5% versus OpenSea and looks rare is 2.5%. Just for future reference, if you guys didn't already know that. That's
Mm-hmm.
good information, honestly. And yeah, so is everyone able to? I don't know if I can't tell if how many people are tuned into my stream, but if people aren't able to get into my stream, feel free to have someone share my screen, like just share their screen of my screen, and we can keep on going with this. Um, But yeah, so if everyone's enjoying this so far, I'm gonna keep on going. Feel free to chime in to give my mouth a freaking break. This is for you guys. Like, I literally cannot preach enough. Like I'm doing this for you guys because I love you guys. I love this community. I'm literally fucking I'm Jira through and through, and like the only thing that makes me happy is when I'm educating and teaching you guys. And if I can talk for 4 hours and I can educate like a handful of you guys on some new features, and it helps you guys make some money or make some correct investment choices, then I'm happy. I'm stoked about that. So I appreciate you guys coming out here. We're coming up to the 1 hour point. We were going to try to keep these AMAs at 1 hour. My AMAs are different. Don't hold any of the other people on the core team to what I'm about to do here. This could go 4 hours long. It could go 6 hours long. It could go 2 hours long. This is all for you guys. I'm doing this to make sure that you guys are learning. You guys have an open channel to the core team. If you want to chime in and you don't have enough time to sit through this entire thing till the end, feel free to ask any questions, any concerns, any suggestions for the core team. I will directly take all questions that are legit concerns straight to Shan and the rest of the team, and I will annoy the shit out of them until they look at it. Because the main thing is, we are nothing without the community. If the concerns of the community are not being answered and not being met, then we are failing as a team. We love you guys, and we're bringing it back to the old school way of Godjira, and that's how we're going to do it. A lot of projects are really struggling really bad with transparency and communication. By us doing these AMAs, we are making sure that we are going to get you guys to be able to understand what's going on behind the scenes a little bit better. We have so much stuff going on, and we have so much stuff we can't tell people, and we understand that that's kind of a bit frustrating, to kind of keep things in secretive, but we're trying to be more transparent, trying to let you guys know that we are working our asses off, and this is pretty much like for you guys. So, um, let me see if I have anything else about the news from the previous week that I had written down. I think I got through everything. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about there's Murakami is doing a allow list for their Lucky Cat Coin Bank, which you can actually sign up for the pre-mint of that. I will put that into chat if you guys have not already done that, signed up for that. I think the floor price is around 0.35, and that's for I think I think it's I think the mint price is 0.07. I think the floor right now is 0.35, so it's probably a good idea. The registration closes August 12th at 7 p.m. my time, so you guys have plenty of time to do it. But that's some other news that was coming out. There's another drop from Murakami. As we all know, Murakami is basically goated in this space. He's very well known. He's the CloneX guy. We all know how well CloneX has done. It's one of the, I'd say, top 5 projects out there as far as blue chips go. Um, and that's kind of going to be another thing I was going to touch on is that some of these projects, some of the blue chips projects are down a bit, or they're crab walking, which means they're kind of just like staying at the same price for a bit of time. And that's normal. It's not a reflection of what the project is doing, but more of a reflection of what the market's doing. So don't hold the market sentiment against a certain project. A lot of these projects are still doing really amazing things. CloneX recently got a little bit of FUD. I'm not putting any FUD on it. I'm just kind of explaining what I've heard out there for this whole hoodie drop that was like kind of like hyped up, and people are selling this hoodie for like 0.35, and it's kind of gaining a little bit of FUD, which is normal. The easiest thing for people to do in this space is not to, you know, celebrate the good things that projects are doing. It's more so they like to FUD when projects do something slightly bad, and FUD just comes from anything. It's just and FUD's addictive, and it's also contagious. People that FUD normally they FUD a lot. And also when people start fudding, other people like to hop on board and kind of like it's easy to FUD. So don't take it like anything negative against those projects. One project as far as a blue chip ish is going is the Chromie Squiggle is actually up over 10 ETH now. It's I think that's a 30% increase around that over the last week, which is like when a project is up 30% and it's around like a 7 8 ETH, that's a huge increase obviously versus something that's up 50% and it was a floor price was 0.05. So um yeah, so those are a couple things. We also to talk a little bit about a project that's going to be a cooker. It's already cooking. Is of course, is Evolve. I'm sure you guys have seen the interactions with the tweets for that project. That's gonna be big, and I don't want to elaborate too much on it, but as you can probably tell, it has a lot to do with what's going on with some big names with Godjira and all this good stuff. Tons more information will be coming with that. And Yin Yang is actually a project that's come out and it was named Nomad, I think is the founder. He's a really amazing like figure in this space. I'd say it's like one of the good guys. He's the Disto Apes founder. He was announced as the founder of Yin Yang. They've got other people. I think Mason Ghost is like an advisor been named over there. So they got some big prominent names that are, you're seeing this like team kind of come together, and it's absolutely huge. They had a Spaces like yesterday. Yeah, yesterday that had like 500 people there. If you guys know anything about Spaces, 100 is like is a healthy 150 is healthy, 50 is normal, but when you get up over 200, 250, up to 500, that's showing a lot, and that's just concurrent. That's just like at one time there's that many. The number of viewers that could have tuned in over the course of the Spaces could have been something well over 1,000, and that's really impressive. So keep an eye on that Yin Yang project. That's definitely going to be a cooker. I would assume because we are so close with Nomad, I know Shanos Nomad, I know Disto Apes is like something that's worked closely with Project Godjira. They will, it's looking like that we'll most likely be getting some spots for that if that's how that's going to work. I don't want to say any definitive things, but I know that we will most likely get spots for that. That'll be great. Like I
Oh,
said, that's a new ETH project that's going to be a cooker. And that's when I say cooker, it's like I don't know if other people use this. I'm not trying to coin the term, but when I say something's going to cook, it means it's going to like, it's getting hot, 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 you know what I mean? It's boiling, baby. So when I say cooker, that just means there's a project to look at. It could be something that's going to do really well. Also, another cool thing, the some people from Ape List actually created a bot called AlphaBot. we were very lucky to have Alex be one of like the premier beta testers for that, and has brought that into Godjira, which I think is absolutely incredible. It's like a giveaway bot, but it allows people to see, like if you look at the alpha bot, you can enter a giveaway. If you want a giveaway, you can tell it to give you a reminder. You can also click and let people know, like it's like, oh, I want another Discord. Oh, if the Discord's open, there's a link underneath like that giveaway, and it also has a link to the Twitter and to the OpenSea when it's like minting. So it kind of gives you a little bit more information and makes it much easier for you to disseminate the information about a project, about something that has recently um, I think that is recently minting and all that good stuff, and I love this bot. It's amazing, and it also the cool thing is that you can enter your information in AlphaBot, and it goes through all it goes through every single project. So any other project that's used AlphaBot, if you have your information entered, all you have to do is click enter raffle on any of the other ones, and it has your wallet already in there. It'll also let you know if your wallet is being added directly to contract, which is actually so freaking amazing. And I love that because like there's so many projects coming out, and I for one also get like so like thrown off by the amount that's out there, and I get mixed up. And you can actually like have you can have the ability to add it to your Google Calendar, and you can like have all that stuff on mint days, and so you just stay up on it. Um, Another project that I was looking at is that's coming out. Obviously, Meme Land is going to be a big one. Gangster All Stars is going to be huge as well. It's a very interesting project for sure that's coming out. They have a Genesis collection. You've got Inurashi over there, who's considered one of the GOAT devs in the space, which is just like absolutely incredible. And I'm not sure when their release is going to be, but they've done this thing where you basically engaging on Twitter and all, and you know, participating in different spaces and all that stuff, and then you can get airdropped a token. It's like a chip. It's called the Gangster All Star chip, which basically gives you access to the project, which is actually really cool. Inurashi actually created his own ERC token for this chip, and when you get the
Project
chip,
is that? Couldn't hear.
excuse me.
Which project do you say after Meme Land? What was it?
Gangster All Stars, also known as Gas.
Oh, okay.
So the way that Gas works is you engage on Twitter and you go to their spaces, and you just like overall just like are all about the project. You change your profile picture name, profile picture, you add it in your bio and all that good stuff, and you can get selected to get airdropped a chip, which gives you access to the server, which also I'm pretty sure acts as a whitelist. And it's actually really cool. Like I was saying, is that Inurashi created this specific ERC token to make it as like a different way of getting whitelisted or getting added to a server. And right when you get the chip, you go to a website, and when you go to that website, it lets you choose which mob boss you want to support. And when you choose a mob boss, right as you choose that mob boss, your ERC token, the metadata updates and changes to that mob boss's chip. And then also inside the server, it lets every single channel know that, hey, Zerocool has chosen the way of Mr. Kill. Like, please like greet him. So, which is like absolutely cool. It's all automated, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just kind of like mind blowing, quite frankly. Um, yes, Ranga is also one of those on that list. I'm looking at some of the people in chat talking about things. I mean, like Izu is 1000% pretty hyped up. I can't say if these are huge flips, but what I can say is that these are projects that have really good teams behind it. Izu is the like kind of like, I don't know, the sister project, or I don't know, of Psychedelics Anonymous. I think it has to do with the marketplace that's coming up. I remember I went to NFT NYC and I sat in on a Psychedelics Anonymous thanks to one of our Gen 2 holders, Cam, West Virginia Cam. He got me into the talk, and I went there and sat in. And basically, Izu is kind of like the marketplace where you can use your Psychedelics Anonymous profile picture, and you can change traits in it, and you can like, I think it's like you use Ethereum to do it. I don't know 100%. I'm not too deep into the Izu ecosystem, but I do appreciate what Voltura and that team is doing, constantly building over there. Um, let's see if there's any other stuff. I mean, people been talking about Nanoverse Phase 2. They've kind of lost a shit ton of steam. Not saying anything bad against the project, but with PXN, with the BF Party, these are all kind of under the realm of Nanoverse. Not saying that BF Party is a Nanoverse thing, but BF Party minted and it flopped really heavily, and it just like basically they had to turn it to a free mint. And I think that's not what they wanted to have happen, but like I don't know, it just did. Those Nanoverse projects just lost a lot of steam. So there will be a phase 2 of actual Nano Pass, which everyone was really hyped up to. I think it's lost a lot of hype, but I do see a lot of people talking about it. Um, there's a couple other projects. Obviously, like I talk about Degenheim a lot. That's definitely something that I feel like is still gaining even more steam. That team is like working their ass off. Milan's doing like 2 to 3 AMAs a day. If you haven't seen one of those AMAs, please I implore that you go and check one of those out. And so someone's saying that Izu is a digital fashion on Magic Eden, can be minted on Solana and ETH cross-chain NFT. Women digital fashion. Yeah, so I think that it does have something to do with your actual Psychedelics Anonymous, though. Like you can use that digital fashion to, like the way that Volturo is saying it is like, we're are in the real world. We're our NFT, like we're our profile picture, and every single day we wake up, we put different clothes on. So like, we dress up our actual human profile. It feels so weird to describe it this way, but I think you guys understand. Like, we dress in different clothes every single day. We can change our hair. We can even get surgery, do things, change our shoes, socks, pants, all that good stuff. And why can't we do that with our NFTs? I think that's what he's playing off of. And that's very true. And when you word it that way, it's absolutely true. So we're looking at that being something that's like gonna set a new bar for what some projects are gonna be doing. Hopefully we'll see other projects have the ability to do that. I definitely feel like people love their Bored Apes and their doodles and all that good stuff, but I bet they would love the ability to, if at all possible. I'm not sure like how it would, because there's like actual subgroups of doodles fans, for instance, for people who own ones that have rainbow vomit, and there's subgroups that are like that. So I don't know if they would ever change it where like you could take your doodle and add the rainbow vomit, if that would like take away from it. Sounds like it would take away from it, but if you're paying for it and you're burning a token or something like that, then maybe it works well within the ecosystem. Only time will tell. I think that the ESU release and seeing how well that does will kind of set the bar and will let us know exactly what that's going to be all about, which is great. And let's see. What else do I want to talk about? I'm not going to go into every single project on there. There's a lot of projects that are coming out that I've been looking at. We can always have another conversation about this later in it. I kind of just want to get through all my talking points really quick, and then we can just open it up to any kind of questions, not even about the market or about NFTs themselves, but to just like what's going on with Godjira. If you guys want to ask questions, like I said, is I can't necessarily promise that I'll be able to answer everything, but what I can do is I will take your questions, I'll put them in a Google Doc, and I'll make sure the team sees them, and we kind of work from there. All really good stuff. But yeah, I'm super stoked about Degenheim because we're able to bring so many spots to Godjira, and Godjira actually is one of like 4 projects that got 50 OG spots, and then Project Godjira is also going to get a fucking huge chunk of Degen list spots, as well as being the one project that gets the most Discord invites. I mean, definitely gets the most Discord invites. I'm definitely here making sure everyone gets in there because it's a lot of fun. Like being in that server, there's tons of things going on, and we've got a lot of Jiras that are part of like working with that team over there, and we're doing that not to like spread ourselves thin, but we're trying to like bring more and more good projects to Godjira and like gives exclusive ability, because like there's people out there that are literally begging on Twitter, trying to get inside trying to get into the server, and here in Godjira, all you have to do is be hanging around, and I'll most likely gift people. Deads, you're gonna get server muted. If you have anything to say, feel free to tag me and I can unserver mute you. Totally fine. Um, but like I said, we're well over the hour marker. Just want to thank everyone so much for coming out. We're going to be doing these like very often. Like, if someone from the core team can't, if for some reason from real life obligations they're sick or yada yada yada, I will fill in. We will have AMAs every day. I will fill in. So there will be an open line of dialogue for everyone. So Jiraverse, there's beyond what's already on the Medium report and all that stuff. I'm not going to talk too much about it. These are questions that I would prefer you guys to ask Shan and Jamie. I can answer some questions, but most of the stuff, the information, you guys already have all that information. I'm not trying to pass the buck or anything like that. I would prefer these questions to come out so that they can be answered like much more in depth with the people who are working with that. I'm more of the communications guy. I am like I always say is I'm bridging the gap between the community and the core team, because the core team can't be here all the time. They can't just be sitting in chat. Shan obviously is definitely in chat talking and hanging out with people here and there, but we can't always be doing that kind of stuff. We have other stuff in the real life. We have time zones to deal with and all that good stuff. So that being said, I do think bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3, yeah, I mean, this kind of what it is, but yeah, I do apologize. For that. I know you guys want questions. You will not miss out on anything. Trust me, Jiraverse is like the cheapest way to get into the Godjira ecosystem. There will be more with it. There is no reveal day. There's more of your Jiraverse token is like a pass to be able to get you three NFTs, the 3D, the voxel, and then the mystery one. And so like right now, don't worry, everybody. There's no like if you buy it off OpenSea, you can still burn your pass to get those things. Nothing has been pushed forward to that. You've missed out on absolutely nothing. So there's no rush or anything like that. Um, yeah, HO, go ahead. Either come off mute
Yeah,
or
yeah. Thank you. I'm NVC. Thank you very much. I just want to add thank you for the time that you spent the last 2 hours. Thanks everybody. I just want to add something about the community for Godjira, regardless you are a Godjira holder or not. I was a holder since the mint of Godjira Gen 2, and sadly I lost my Jira for the things that Zerocool mentioned, that don't use your wallet there and there, from almost 4 months ago, and I was still before the Jiraverse mint, I was able to gather some ETH, and I really wanted to get a Jira 2, a Gen 2, the last minute before the snapshot. So I was following in and running right and left, and no one was accepting my offer, and I was short on ETH. And from the chat, shout out for Harsh and Washington. I'm not sure if I mentioned the name. They just DM'd me and sent me the short ETH to buy my Jira 2 again after 4 months trying to get in to the community again. So short said about it, that's Gojira family. It's not about the floor price, not about you know, it's the team, it's the community. We always knew that um, Gojira family and the whole community here is the best that we can get. Even if the ecosystem getting insight from Jiraverse or from the Gen 1, of course, big big respect, and from Gen 2, I'm glad that I'm here again. Thank you very much, Zero Call, everyone here, uh, being in the VC. And I really wanted to shout out for Hash and Wisdom helping me, giving me ETH that they don't have to do it, just to let me get in the family again. So Yeah, thank you.
You're the man, man. That story like literally like kind of gives me goosebumps. Not to be too cringe, but that's like what it's all about. Honestly, that's kind of like what Web3 is all about. Is like that kind of stuff. Is because it's the community based, and it's like no other projects in like Web2. Like there's no community behind like Nike. It's like people that just buy and support this stuff. But like with these projects out here, we have community that are really actively trying to make sure people can stay in, a part of the family, which like like that breaks it broke my heart when I heard that you lost it through like a hack and through a scam link, and that it just like breaks my heart. And I just love to hear that you're still around, man. A lot of people would just like that would happen, they would throw their arms up, they'd throw in the towel, and they would say like, get me the hell out of here, I'm fucking done. But like you stuck around, and guess what, you got rewarded for it. Like, so I like truly believe that when you're putting out good energy and good vibes, that you literally are going to that will come back. It doesn't always seem like that, but it will always come back. And like, thank you so much for hopping up in here. That's amazing stuff. Like, I love hearing it.
Of
That's like
course.
why
Yeah,
we
and,
do what
and
we
and
do.
shout out for the guys, like they are awesome. I really like they just DM'd me and just said, Echo, how much you need? Point one, point two, like they sent me the rest of the East so I can purchase the Godjira for the snapshot. It's not about the snapshot, it's about like how amazing is the community, and they really want, like we really hear every single one of the community want will help each other sort of with information, like even with ETH. Like imagine people we don't know only from Web3 that just help each other. That's the community that we need, that we are looking for, not only a key pick or like a profile. It's a lot to talk. I just wanted to thank these guys and thank, of course, the team. Even if you were absent a little bit, you were walking and getting around. And we hope like someday in future you will come to Europe, and we will see you again also.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Absolutely, man. That's just such an amazing story, and I'm like so happy that you came up here and talked about that, because some of the newer people in here, some of the people that bought Jiraverse because they had heard about Project Godjira Genesis and the Gen 2, and they wanted to be about it, like need to hear that kind of stuff, because that kind of stuff has been happening like a lot, in here, and it happens behind the scenes. And one cool thing that I always told people about Godjira that I love so much is that when I came in here, everyone comes from different walks of life in the Web 2 world. There's lawyers, there's bankers, there's like web developers, there's, all sorts of stuff. I was a carpenter. And so like when I came in here, I started when I first started getting NFTs, I was trying to study to do a online course to become a web developer, to work front end development. And there's a member of the community like WVU Cam. He like reached out to me and we were chatting about it, and he was like told me that he wanted to help me be able to get a better resume, and to give him my resume to look over it. And he even made corrections. He even looked at my portfolio and all this stuff. And I was like, man, I really can't like give you any money, man. I'm like really like I'm just like kind of strapped. And he's just like, dude, he's like, it's not about that. Like, we're in a family here. Family helps family. And that's just like a tiny little thing to show you guys. There's so many amazing people here. And like, I know I see some people like, out here buying and selling, and they like, or you never talk down to anybody that sells their Godjira, because we understand there's also real life like issues, and it doesn't mean the person is not okay with the Jira ecosystem and how what's going on with it. It's more if people have like real life things. There's a Jira fam member who minted and sold like a couple months ago, and it helped him buy a house. And it was like such a heartwarming story to know that like we helped build something that where the floor price got high enough where a person could literally buy a house. It's like absolutely incredible. And you have members that are just willingly like donating um, ETH to help a member who got scammed previously to get back into the ecosystem. It's just like, I don't know, man. It's what it's all about. And I'm not saying I don't hear other projects do this, but I hope other projects are doing this. I hope that Jira is not the only one, but one that I hear the most from is Godjira. And I hear that they're doing it more than, like all the time. And that makes me happy. And that's why I bleed Jira. Shan, when we were in when we were in Singapore, kept on like making a joke to my girlfriend that if I got cut open, a lizard would like walk out of me because that's how I am. I'm Godjira through and through. And that story and the community rallying and all that stuff, that's why we do what we do. And it's never a thank you just to the team. It's like for what they built. It's more of what we built, and I say that as like a member of the community as well as a core team member. It's like we are nothing without you guys, and vice versa. It's a two-way street, and we work together, and that's why we do what we do. That's why the team works so much, and that's why when we went to Singapore and Bali, I was under this impression that like we were gonna go and like have these parties and do all this stuff. It was like actually very much a business trip, and I don't say that negatively. I say that as in like, wow, this is really impressive, you know, and it really showed me like how dedicated the team is. Is other teams, like I said, I don't badmouth the other projects. That's not what I do. But I have seen that thing that makes me frustrated with in real life events is that some of the team they take community money that's supposed to be used for the project for the holders and they go and party, and that's what they use for it. The money that was used for any of the parties or anything like that was for to give benefits to the holders. Like I met so many holders, and it really validated all the hard work that we've all done. When I would shake the hand of someone who, when I said, "Hey, how's it going?" They were like, "I know that voice. Are you Zerocool?" And like without me even having to introduce myself, people knew that I was Zerocool. And it like validated everything when holders were saying how much they appreciated it and how much I appreciate them. Like I am not the all-knowing and all-seeing and all-being like person here. I learn from you guys as well as you guys learn from me. And that's like the beautiful thing. It's not like one person that's just like running the show. So I appreciate you so much, Ho, for getting up here and talking about it. We definitely are going to try to plan something that's closer towards European, and to help people out with getting there, because I know Singapore was tough. I mean, it was fucking tough on me. Like I swear I'm still slightly jet lagged, but you go 13, 14
Same, bro.
hours.
Same.
You say what?
Tata, bro.
Oh,
Singapore jet
Tata, what
lag is
up?
killing me. Bro, it's killing me, bro. The jet lag is horrible.
Dude, it's fucking awesome to hear your voice, man. I had such a good time with you, and I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning today, and I was like awake, and I was like, "What the hell's going on? This is like bullshit. Like I'm not even like this
Yeah,
is not
bro.
right." And like, oh man, my eating schedule and stuff, and just like I don't know, it's just weird. Like that
Everything is good. Yeah.
dude, the travel day when coming to Singapore, I had a 29-hour travel day. Went from Nashville, Tennessee to Denver, Colorado. Had a 5-hour layover in Denver. Nearly missed, but because we had delays, nearly missed my flight that was taking off in San Francisco to go to Singapore, which they only have one flight a day, I think, one or two flights a day. And I was like, I cannot miss this. So me and my girlfriend ran to the flight, and we
Yeah.
literally like we're sitting there in this like cramped seat in economy, and I looked over at my girlfriend, and she was looking at me like, are you fucking serious? Is this about to be a 16-hour 15-minute flight after us running here? Like, I'm not happy. And I was like, babe, I love you so much. You're such a trooper. Let's just get through this, and we're gonna have an amazing time. And we did. And it was so great for her to come and like really see kind of what I've done. Because Web3 is very. If someone out there can make a guide to explain to their girlfriend or their family members about what they do in Web3 and explain it like in a way that they understand, uh, holler at me. I'll get you on YouTube. I'll get you up on a Spaces, and we'll promote the shit out of it, because I wish I knew how to do it better. Because even when she was there with me, we were like, she still didn't quite understand everything, but she's just like looked over at all the people in our team and was like, "This is insane. We've got a person from like Norway, and we've got a person from Netherlands, so we got someone from Germany, and we've got someone from like from Trinidad and Tobago. We got someone from LA, from Nashville. We got some people from Australia, just like all over the place, like Hong Kong and like everything. And it's just like such an amazing thing. It's like, where else would you be having this like all group of people come together to work for the greater good of advancing Web3 than with something like this? And Godjira is really special and unique in its sense that it is the most that I've come across, not saying that's a guarantee, but it's the most global community out there. It's just like absolutely incredible, and like Tada's the fucking man. Like I don't know how to pronounce his name properly, so I just call him Tada. So I hope that's all right.
It's Tada.
Tada. But yeah, the Meta Lambos guy was like asking me, he's like, "How the hell do you pronounce his name?" And I was just like, I just call him Tada.
Oh, he asked you that? I don't know.
Yeah, he asked me. He was just like, I just gotta ask. It's like Tata Marine or what the hell is that thing? And I just call him Tata.
Yeah, Tada is fine.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I love it, man. I love the name. It's great. It rolls right off the tongue. And I remember the first time I saw you, I called you a weeb, and then I came over and I was just like, "Don't worry, bro. I'm a weeb too." Down in the Godjira workspace, also known as the Regent lobby.
Oh man. We talked about my Twitter name, Shinraton, how it's made, and then the weep came out.
Oh my god, so many people don't understand just like how deep that stuff goes. We love it so much, man.
Yeah, we need just more meetups because the family is great here.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. It's and we're gonna definitely be planning some more meetups in the future. I think we're gonna try to do something in the United States, maybe like LA or New York or something like that. Nothing set in stone, but one thing that was underrepresented at obviously a Southeast Asia event was, you know, United States and somewhat of Europe. And we want to try to fix that. We want to try to make sure we meet everybody because like all I want to do is just like meet every holder now. After this thing, it's like I just want to meet every single person and just like talk to them and hang out with them. And the cool thing was like we weren't just talking about, you know, like NFTs. We were talking about life and just talking about like where they're from and all that good stuff. And that always makes me so happy because like oftentimes when you go for work, you talk about work. That was always something like whenever I worked in like college, you'd like go hang out with your work friends and all you do is talk about, oh man, this I was waiting on this table, man, or I had to make this pizza or something. And like I was just like, ugh, I hate this. Like let's just talk about other stuff. And like it felt really good and was just like a breath of fresh air to show how close we really are. It like the link supersedes just NFTs and Web3. We were talking about everything, life in general, and it was just so much fun. Singapore and Bali are just so completely different, two completely different places. Um, but anyways, I will hop back towards what I was talking about. I could talk about that forever and ever. Tad is the fucking man. It was the first time I really got a chance to kind of connect with you, and that made me really happy because I know there's a lot of people on the team that I would get along. I mean, I love it. I get along with everyone really well just because like I'm a people person and I love networking. And it was just like so cool. It's like I didn't have to like act differently. I could just be Zerocool, and everyone appreciated that. And then everyone was just themselves, and they didn't have to be a different person. And that is cool shit, man. When you don't have to like change who you are, that's just like something really special. And I don't know if too many people quite understand the sentiment when I say that, but it's definitely a big deal for sure.
I agree, bro. It's just love, like seriously.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Let's see. I'm trying to think if let's see what else I wanted to talk about. If anyone just wants to chime in, go ahead, Tad. If you want to like talk about any stuff like, you know, maybe in the degen mints or free mints, if you have anything coming up, feel free to. You can use this time to kind of like let people know what's going on, because I'd say that your degen mints are kind of like driving a lot of a decent amount of value here in Godjira. It's definitely something that's well known and talked about for sure. So if you have anything that you want to like talk about, or if anybody wants to come in and tell Tata about a free mint that maybe you guys have been checking out that we need to make sure that we're getting some spots for, feel free to. I mean,
Yeah, I
we
mean,
all here.
everybody can always DM me with a link. I will always check it up. I declined some because don't like send me 3D stuff. The 3D stuff is always like old NFT projects that didn't sell out and try on free mint. So it's not gonna be good really. But if you have something really good or you're interested in, just send me a DM. I mean, the free mint meta right now is slowing down heavily. It's harder to get good free mints and harder to pop off because people are getting smarter. Free mints are based on like other people buying your free mint, and people are getting smarter because they know the moment they buy a secondary free mint, it's a hard struggle and risk to sell it again. So this week was hard. We got some rise. But I would say it's getting harder for sure. So, but if you have something, just DM me. My DMs are always open, and I will always give also advice if you plan something. I'm always free for every DM.
Awesome. And that's like goes for me too, like, you know, on the other spectrum of it, if you have any questions about like anything. I mean, I like to tell people that my DMs are open for everything, even beyond Web3. So I would always love when people hit me up, and I always like hate when people hit me up and they say, "Sorry to bother you," and I'm like, "Ah, God, when has it gotten to this point where we're like that? You know, sorry to bother you, like, you know, like it's like I don't ever want it to feel like that, and I feel like that's kind of like something that's gotten pushed out about some people who are a little bit more like, you know, influencers in this space. They, not that they ignore, but they kind of like, you know, make it hard to reach, like, oh, you guys are just like holders, so I don't have to give you the time of the day. Like, I'll tell you right now, holders mean more to me. Like, if an influencer hits me up versus like a holder, I'm gonna get back to the holder like instantly, because like that, you guys mean like the most to me, and like this is where like my home base is. And so if I'm not taking care of my family instead of a random stranger that's an influencer, then like I'm a piece of shit, and I'm not gonna be a piece of shit to you guys. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. That's just like something that I'm always gonna do. um, One thing I do want to touch on really quick, that we were talking about earlier. Let's see, who was it that was talking? Soda. So Soda, if you want to look over at my screen again, like I was saying to you, looking at that momentum, I've been keeping an eye on this chart over the last 15, 20, 30 minutes. And you notice
Mm-hmm.
the red, the greens still well outweighing the blue. And look at the floor price now, 0.64. We've watched it go from 0.7, 0.71 around there since we talked about it. It's dropped all the way to 0.64, and there is not a lot of sales coming in. Some of the really
Mm-hmm.
great analytics about this is this highlighting this right here. They've added a lot of new stuff with this. You can tell, you know, 1 hour sales, you can tell 10-minute sales, and you can also talk about like the 1 minute pending, how many of them been happening. See, people are even undercutting right now, and this is a new listing that's undercutting. That's not good. Okay, so that's a new listing being added on there that wasn't there. Undercutters are not so bad because it's not actually adding to the number of listings total, because they're just like lowering their price. But when you see a green right here on the side, I don't know if you could tell the green and the red. Green means new listing. It basically, it's a color coded to basically mirror what the green is here. So when you see a green right here, and then you look over here and you see the green right here, you can kind of tell that that's a new listing versus like an old listing and whatnot. And we're looking at that momentum chart. This is, like I said, it's just like, you never want to give financial advice, but when you're looking at this, like when I was telling you, like, do you want to buy right now or do you want to wait? Like, it's obvious that you would want to wait. Once you start seeing the blue bars start getting bigger and start outweighing the number of red bars, that's when you might want to think about, hey, we may have hit the bottom, or we might have hit that resistance point. It looks like over the last day, I think point 0.5 looks like the support. Something around point 0.5 is the support, which if you don't understand what support and resistance are, support is
Mm-hmm.
saying that, you know, usually this is like the low point, and it's like kind of like a psychological like barrier to see like what people are like, oh, it gets down to point 0.5, oh, I don't want to go under that because I value my NFT above that. And that's kind of, if you're looking at this right here, I was trying to find like the last time it dipped, and the last time it dipped, it went up and then it came back down. And see this right here, this was around the 0.5, it went up and then it came back down, and it didn't go real much lower than 0.5. So then you find out that that's the support. The resistance right now, I would say, is something around like a 0.7, 0.75 around there. You can see the sales not really cresting over that. The sales that you're seeing that are up here in the upper part right here, these are rarer ones. If you look at the
Mm-hmm.
dot color, this dot color, the purple, if you know anything about like MMORPGs or anything like that, purple usually means it's like an epic. Blue is it's like a rare, and then, you know, greenish color means it's a common. So you're seeing these greenish colors down here, and these mean these are more of like a common rarity. But these ones up here, such as this, are definitely going to be token IDs that are going to be in the on the rarer side. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
see, this one's ranked 955 out of a 9,000, so that's a top 10 percenter. When you see the purple, it's gonna be a top 10 percenter, and that just basically lets you know. So we'll just go over
Oh
like a
no,
quick.
I bought it at 0.7, man.
Oh, you did? Well, so like that's what I was saying is like you just gotta like kind of like sometimes when you see like not a lot of volume going on, you need to kind of keep an eye on it. We're starting to
Yeah.
see some buys come through, which could mean that it's gonna go back up. We've seen a lot of talk, like we were saying, is when Mafia Boss was up here and was talking, he was saying that they Bored Apes are buying into this. People who own an NFT that's worth 85 Ethereum, they're not pushing like extremely hard, and yeah, like they're not going to constantly be like pushing to like sell something that's worth zero point 0.6 or zero point 0.7. So they're going to buy something, and this is obviously like if you look at what they look like, this is kind of like the plays into the Pepe, which is like the most used emoji of all time, is the Pepe version, and it kind
Yeah.
of plays into the whole like Bored Ape type like looking thing. So based on the meme and all that stuff. So like I was saying is just look at all this, the momentum here. The momentum really does not look good. As far as upward trend, but it does look good for if someone was looking to enter into it. You can kind of get an idea of getting a lower, buy-in price. I'm sorry that you got in at zero point 0.7. I don't think that's too bad. That's kind of like where the resistance is, which means that it's gonna take a lot of volume to push through to push past that 0.7, 0.7,
Mm-hmm.
0.75 area right there. So we're gonna need to see something like a big surge, an announcement or some big people, some big buyers come in or whatnot to push through that. But one thing that we are seeing that is very healthy is people buying over floor. So you're seeing some people that are buying some rare ones at 0.99, 0.81. Oftentimes, when you see projects, you see people only coming in at the floor,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you.
So, like in the future, this is like don't beat yourself up about buying at the highest point. Like never
Yeah.
beat yourself about that, but just kind of try to understand what kind of you did wrong. And I always tell people that you didn't make a mistake unless you learned nothing from that mistake. Like you didn't fail
Yeah.
unless like the mistake that you made, you learned nothing from. If you learned from it, guess what? Use it as a learning thing. Use that little bit extra that you paid for that as like, oh, I paid for this lesson, which is like always kind of sounds lame, but like when you lose some money, it like, like
Yeah.
when you mess up and you like, you damage your car by backing into like a light pole, or whatever. Like you learn from that. Like that's the main thing, is like you're
Yeah.
learning from these mistakes. Don't beat yourself up about that. Do not do that. Just use it as a learning thing, and like listen to what I'm saying and check this out. This is one of the most obvious like momentum plays ever, is that this is downward trend because like these blue lines are so small that is just like nothing, you know? So when you start to see this, just like use this now that you've learned about this momentum graph out here. Look at this
Yeah.
line. The closer this line gets to like being like, which I say the equator, which is 0, the better it's going to be. But right now,
Mm,
like I said, it's going to keep downtrending. When you start to see those blue bars start to pick up a little bit, that's when you're like, okay, maybe I want to maybe I need to enter into this, Does that make sense? I want to make sure that you understand like kind of where my mindset was going with this. It
yeah.
does. So,
I appreciate that you suggested this site because I've been having quite a hard time looking at the graphs on OpenSea because I have friends who are Degen plays
hmm
and they ask me like, what do you see when you have bad mints and stuff? I mean, for me, because usually I look at the art, right?
yeah.
It's like, oh, it looks nice, and you just buy it.
hmm
But you didn't expect that it'll crash and stuff. Then they ask you like, why did you buy this and stuff? And I was like, I actually like the art. I think I believe in it. That kind of thing. Yeah. So
And see,
um,
there's some projects
really,
where you don't have to look at the floor and you don't have to look
yeah,
at the volume, and you just believe in the project and you love the art and you want that to be your profile picture. That's the meta I want to move towards. Because right now
yeah,
it feels like instead of supporting projects and supporting teams, people are betting on teams and
yeah,
betting on
yeah,
projects. It's a very different mindset. Instead of being like, when you're buying stock, you're like, oh, Apple has some great stuff coming in. I want to buy stock in Apple because I believe in what Apple's doing and I want to see the future of that. That's
yeah,
supporting the project. versus people
Yeah.
being like, oh, I want to support this project because I'm praying that this price goes up. That's totally fine. I'm not dogging anyone for that, but the main thing is
Yeah.
that there is going to be a time where we're going to want to support projects that are doing innovative things. Like everybody that's in here in channel right now supports Project Godjira. And here we are
Yeah.
learning and educating together this kind of information. And I'm not talking about information I'm giving you. I'm talking about this discussion that you and myself are having right now. This is
Yeah.
important to Web3. I know it's a small, tiny thing, but this is other people are listening to us and learning from this. Other people are too scared to come off mute, and I'm not dogging anyone for it's daunting. Trust me, I completely understand. But for you to come off mute and have this discussion with me, I thank you so much for this because we're like you're opening my eyes to things I need to touch on, and we brought
Yeah.
into this whole thing to educate people, and a lot of people were like, I didn't know anything about that momentum tool. Like that's something that I feel like NFTnerds lacks a little bit. They need to like maybe when you go to NFTnerds.ai, the actual main site, be like, here's the new things on here. Here's a video that shows the momentum thing, and it doesn't show that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a little bit frustrating for me. But
Yeah.
here I am.
Also, I got my boyfriend to get into Jira actually. So he bought some
Amazing.
Jiraverse and he's studying the Web3 space as well. So he was a bit confused when some projects are doing like giveaways. So he thought that those giveaways are being filtered before they are given out as a giveaway. So I think the other time someone did a raffle on Dubai dudes and it ended up becoming a fake project or a rug. So he
Right.
was really by it. So he was trying to observe a project like what do you look at the website, but people do say that website is nothing because it can be fake as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he's developed like trust issues after that because he had to study and look at it properly, like the comments. Is it bots? Is it bot followers? Is it
Yep.
this? Is it that? Yeah.
So one thing that I'll say is that like that's I'm right there with your boyfriend. That trust issues like even more so now than ever with all these like rug pulls and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and trying to understand is like, and that's why I always tell people to, and I'm not even like saying, of course I'm gonna say people to come to Godjira and be a part of this because when you come in chat, you're open to ask questions and people will love to
Yeah.
give you answers and like love to pass on the experiences that they've had to go through. Like I went through a lot of like rug pulls and a lot of like shitty projects and scams and all this stuff, and like I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that anyone like some people say it's like a rite of passage, like you have to invest in a rug pool, and like it's like kind of more like a funny thing, you know, kind of like a meme thing. I don't think that's like
Yeah.
necessarily true, but like I do feel like people like myself need to go through that so that I can pass off the information to you guys so that you don't go through the same thing. So if you win a raffle
Yeah.
on something here or win a giveaway somewhere, what I like to do is to come into chat and like just like kind of like open up a discussion, you know? Not come in and be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, should I mint this?" We should be like, "Yo guys, like I'm looking at this such and such like Dubai dudes or whatever it was called. What do you guys think about it? They have a cool website. I want to give away for it. Do you guys know anything about it?" And like I always tell people to find a community that they can call home. And one thing that I always appreciate about Shan is that whenever he was saying, he's just like, I get it. You guys don't have to spend all your time here in Godjira. Like, I'm not asking you because there's tons of projects out there. But at the end of the day, when you've gone to the different servers and you spent your time there, come back to your family and come back when you like want to talk and like, you know, hang out. And this is always going to be your home base and always going to be a safe place where you can ask questions. And I'll tell you right now, you can DM me, you can send me a friend. If I don't, so I have a lot of friend requests. Um, so like I'm not, it's not a bragging thing. Like it just a lot of people
Okay.
friend request me, but like if you friend request me and I don't accept your friend request, please feel free to tag me in a voice chat or in any of like the servers. I am on a different time zone than most people, so it's like a little bit more difficult, but I will accept your friend request and I will answer your questions, and you can always tag me and ask my questions. If I'm around, I'm like, and this is a bit of a problem. I'm like kind of not necessarily glued to my phone, but I get all my Discord updates pushed to my phone, and I'm usually on my computer because I work in Web3. So I'm gonna see these notifications, and I'm more than happy. You're never bothering me. I have to like everybody in this chat right now. You're never bothering me. Feel free
Mm-hmm.
to DM me. Feel free to tag me. You can't tag me enough. Like you honestly can't. Like it's never gonna make me mad. People are always like, oh, why are you DMing mods? Why are you DMing core team members? I'm not saying this for all core team members. I'm saying this for Zerocool himself. I'm totally fine with all of that stuff. Feel free to tag me. It's all good. So if you have questions about that, or just like want to talk through a project of what we like look for in a project, there's some really good Twitters out there, like Rugpool Finder is a really good Twitter that I like actually push notifications on that so that I can see different projects that they're researching and they found out, and they give reports and be like, yo, this project feels kind of, could be a scam or whatnot because of these things, and they'll talk about it. So Rugpool Finder's a really good one. It's a good segue into talking about Rugpool Finders. I actually talked to the founder, and I want to bring him in here as part of an AMA because I want to bring more AMAs that are not just about a certain project. I want to bring more AMAs that are like kind of educating people on the space and whatnot. So I want to bring that guy in here and like have a chance for us to all talk to him and ask questions about, hey, like, how can I find what a rug pull is? Like, what goes through your guys's like process of learning about a rug pull? Like, please enlighten me. So, you know, that's I mean that's pretty much what I gotta say about that. And I feel for your boyfriend, and that's kind of frustrating because it's like there's so many great projects out there, and then he invested in a scam one, and then it's like it kind of like
Yeah.
disheartens you, and you're kind of like, ugh, like I don't like you're like screw Web three,
Yeah,
I hate
I
Web
felt
three.
really bad because I put my whole team in it. I was like, oh no, abort mission mess.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel you. It's the same thing with like my real life friends when I like tell them to like, hey guys, look at this project, and like then I say that and then it turns out to be a rug pull or something like that, and I'm like, well, I looked at the website, I looked at this, and nada yada yada
Yeah.
yada. They have over 100K Twitter followers, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. Is like, which I guess this is a good time for me to go to something else that Tada actually, I have to give Tada a lot of credit for this. I always give credit where credit is due. He kind of opened my eyes on like how important of an analytics tool this NFT Inspect is. This is one of those things, and we had a conversation and talking about, you know, hey, you can look at sell walls. So like, you're looking over here. I always tell people, look at sell walls. If you want to invest in something, you want to invest in something that has some smaller sell walls going towards a higher price and good momentum, good volume, and all that good stuff. Those are all great analytics, to look at the number of listings and, how much sales are happening in a day and all that good stuff. That does help you to drive your, buying strategy. But another set of analytics is like the social side of it, this like all about Twitter and what the impact has on it. What is one of the things that you would say would cause you to buy a brand of clothing? One thing I'd say is if you're walking around on the streets and you go to the supermarket and you see everyone wearing Yeezys, the shoe, you see that everywhere. You go around, you see commercials for it. Oh, you see, a famous star wearing Yeezys. Guess what you want to do after you see all that stuff? You also want to buy a pair of Yeezys. In the Web3, you look at profile pictures. When you go into a server and you see a bunch of Godjiras, you're kind of like, "Hey guys, like, what's up with that profile picture?" Like everybody has it, and they're like, "Oh, it's Godjira," and then they go and they're talking more about it, and they're talking about the ecosystem and all that good stuff. And it's like the profile picture is like free advertisement for an NFT project, just as people wearing a certain pair of clothing or driving a certain car. I guess a car is the best way. When you see like, stars and people driving a certain car and you see these Teslas and everybody wants a Tesla because everybody has a Tesla, this NFT Inspect kind of plays into those analytics. And so if you're looking at my screen right now, this is called NFTinspect.xyz. This is another project where I'm talking to the team and I'm going to have them come in and do a demo for us to kind of show you guys how to look at it better. I can't fully answer all the questions about everything about it right now because I'm still trying to learn it, and I don't like to just like have like a huge study download of the information. I like to kind of like learn it as I use it. And so I can't answer all the questions, but what I will say is the cool thing about this is the numbers right here. If you look at the unique profile pictures, what that means is unique, meaning they're not duplicated. It's just each individual person on Twitter has a certain profile picture. If you look at this little exclamation point here, it'll kind of explain a little bit further the number of unique NFTs from this collection being used as a Twitter profile picture. The cool thing about this is that if any project that's going to be high up here, guess what? We can look at let's go scroll through. So we've got the top names here that are all above 2,000. Every single one is over 1 ETH. This is just a lower one in the MFers, but you're looking at, 2.46, and then a Solana one right here, 57, and DGOD's for some reason is not in this top area, but I know, yeah, DGOD's a little lower down, but that's the big one, Solana, Goblin Town, and you can kind of see like the floor price in correlation to the unique profile picture. All the floor prices are extremely healthy with projects that have really high unique floor profile pictures. That set of analytics, I've never heard anybody really talk about this. And like I said, once again, kind of have to give huge shout out to Tada, because I've heard about this project, but me and Tada had a conversation about this exact stuff, and he was like, "Have you ever seen NFT Inspect before?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've seen it, but I don't really know." And he was like, the thing that he said to me about it was, well, if you were using NFT Inspect and you looked at Goblin Town when it was like minting or it had minted out, and if you looked at that project and the number of unique profile pictures that people were using it, and all of a sudden when that started going up, as that goes up, it basically correlated with the floor price going up. So you watch the unique profile pictures, and also another analytics part of this is this like insane one right here, the tweets with the NFT. So I will highlight this and just give you the exact definition: the number of tweets with an image of an NFT from this collection that have been viewed in the preceding 24 hours. So that means that people with that profile picture, a Goblin Town profile picture, doing tweets, and the number of people that are seeing this and its reach, when this is really high, it means that people are looking at tweets by people with Goblin Town. And so this was much higher. We all know that there has been an obvious drop off in the popularity of Goblin Town. Not necessarily meaning anything negative towards the Goblin Town project itself. It's more of the market sentiment and the way the market's going, and a lot of stuff is on a downtrend right now. But if you look at these analytics, this is like actually shit that like blows my mind, because you can look at the sell walls, you can look at all that information, but you can also is someone able to? Sorry, I'm just now seeing the chat. Someone else is cool. Swashy, you're the fucking man. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Sorry, I didn't see the chat in there. I want to make sure everyone can see this. But yeah, so
Got
when
you, bro.
yeah, I appreciate you. But yeah, so like we're looking at these rankings and all this analytics, and this is something that like I could teach you, and it's just gonna be like an overload, and you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, like Zero, geez, like this is nuts. Like, come on, man. Go and hop on this NFTinspect.xyz. I can put it in the chat if you'd like,
Yes, please.
and you guys can go to this, and I tell you that this is just like such a good analytics tool that you guys should definitely learn how to use this to kind of like help with, maybe NFTs that you're holding, if you should hold them longer, or if you should, maybe sell them off. And this is just, I'm not saying that all these indicators are going to literally tell you everything about it, but one thing I will say is that you can kind of see, like if you see this, May 22nd, we're looking at the ranking of this is how they kind of like take all the analytics together and they combine it in this. It's like basically the strength of the community and how far they reach. And so if you look at this, when May 22nd, this is around when it minted. And then all of a sudden from May 22nd to about June 1st or 2nd, you see this like skyrocket. Guess what happened to the floor price? That thing shot up to almost 10 ETH during this time right here. And that's like absolutely extremely impressive, like I must say. So when stuff was popping off with this, especially with the tweets with the NFT, people were tweeting like crazy with this NFT. They were having spaces and they were just having an insane global reach. See how the reach is way higher, 40%. That's like extremely high. And then it's obviously teetered off, not because of the project, more of the market sentiment. But we're looking at these analytics. Use everything at your disposal to trade NFTs. Why listen to an influencer be like, "Hey, blah blah blah, like look at this, like, buy this thing." You don't know if that influencer's gotten paid to do this. You don't know. You don't know that. that's not always a good indicator. Use these free resources. I can't believe NFT Inspect is free. Like, quite frankly, when I'm looking at this stuff, like, I feel like they could like release like a free mint or like a really cheap one to be able to use the analytics tool, not giving them any ideas or anything like that, because I love that it's free and I can be here to teach you guys about it. But it's pretty incredible that this kind of stuff is at our disposal, and I feel like more and more people need to start using this stuff and kind of help use this to guide you where you want to go in your buying, or if you want to sell something, or if you want to buy into a collection. So another really cool thing about this is the upcoming mints, and some of this stuff is like kind of weird because CubeX is already minted, I'm pretty sure, so it's like kind of weird that it's still on here. But if you look at this upcoming mints, you can also change from being Ethereum or to just Solana. Right now, I have it set on all. We can go to Ethereum since we are based in Ethereum. Looking at meme land, it will give you a mint date if there is one. It'll tell you the supply. It'll also tell you a price if there is one. This is another this giveaways thing right here is something that I love seeing, and the reason is because the amount of Twitter followers and the amount of engagement on some tweets is very skewed. And when I say that, it's because giveaways are happening, and the giveaways are pumping those numbers. So if you look at a project that has really high Twitter engagement and really high followers, and there's not very many giveaways, then you're looking at a really healthy project. And that's like the main thing. And that's like, I think that's like really indicative of if a project's kind of like has inflated numbers or not. And so you're looking at meme land. Meme land's gonna cook, like for sure. Like it's already known. I mean, they did a free mint of the potatoes, and that shit's cooking like crazy. It's actually one of the things I was like I wanted to talk a little bit about is that meme land. The potatoes is on the top 6 over the last week as far as volume goes. So as far as that goes, it's always kind of skewed because when you say Bored Ape Yacht Club is one of the highest volumes, it could be that 5 Bored Apes sold, for 100 ETH each, and then it's a 500 ETH in volume, and so any other project that's way lower is always going to come underneath it. So the top 6, I said top 6 because I wanted potatoes to be in there because it's number 6, but it's basically over the last week, the top volume is Bored Ape Yacht Club, Webaverse. Now, I'm sure people want me to talk about Webaverse. I think that all Genesis, or we had a huge chunk. Shout out to Rodriguez, absolute goat when it comes to collabs. He got a massive amount of these whitelist spots, and it did really well. I sold mine at 0.7 just for complete transparency. But I've also heard that there's a lot of new wallets being created that are sweeping the floor, causing a momentum play because, when a sweep comes through, 15 of them get bought. It all of a sudden shows up in the fire hose on NFTnerds, where like if you guys aren't familiar with that, I'll go ahead and click it and show you. So like oftentimes people will sit on NFTnerds on this screen right here. These are the most active collections right here over the last 5 minutes. And so if someone does a sweep, you're going to see it all of a sudden pop up here. So the way it pops up here is the number of sales over the last 5 minutes. So 37, 19, 11, 10, as you can see, they decline. If someone sweeps 15 of them, guess what? It's popping up right here. Whether that project is getting a lot of volume or not, it's literally going to be on this fire hose. So sometimes artificial pumps, I'm not saying that this is actually what's happening, but this is just something to think about. When you look at the wallets that are sweeping and you look at those and you see when they were created and also like if they have any other NFTs in it, if it was just created and it's a brand new wallet sweeping 15 of a certain NFT, I'm not even just talking about Webaverse in general, but Webaverse, it feels kind of like a weird thing. The collection size is absolutely enormous. I do believe they're doing an auction, an English auction, not a Dutch auction, which is just it's basically the opposite of a Dutch auction, and so that's what they're doing with theirs. So Webaverse, I got rid of mine because I kind of didn't feel too good about what's going on with it. Some people are saying it's going to be a competitor to other side and all that stuff. I just don't see anything being able to compete with the other side only because of the fact that Yuga has like fucking Fort Knox for there, which if you're from the United States, Fort Knox is where is one of the main treasuries is held holds all like a huge chunk of the currency, and so like it's going to be hard to compete with that. So after Webiverse being the second one, which that one just minted recently, and that being up in the top, right around sitting with Bored Ape as far as top volume, is pretty impressive. They actually had 4,000 or something sales compared to the next biggest one, being 7 days sales. Look at this, 4,800. If you're looking at this right here, the number of sales that happened over the last 7 days is 4,860 compared to potatoes. The second most sold project is 1,000. That is a insane disparity, I must say. That's like absolutely incredible. So when you're looking at that, you're seeing a lot of volume, a lot of eyes are on it. A lot of times people have eyes on it because sweeps are coming through and they see a sweep coming through. So they're like, oh man, people are buying a ton of this. They must have like some insider information. So people follow sweeps sometimes. It's not a bad way to trade, but it's also one of those ways where it's like you could get left holding the bag. And that's never a good thing. This is one of my favorite websites right here, flips.finance. I have spoken about this a lot, so I'm going to put this into the chat here. This one does not have every single project on it, not by any means. But it is a really good analytics tool that just gives you everything right all in the same place. I love this like so much. Also, once again, don't have to turn to dark mode. Any projects that, any platform that has it where you don't have to turn to dark mode, I instantly love it. So what you can do on here is look at all these different stats. You can look at the sales. So right now the filters, this is the filter thing. If you want to look at stuff like to min to max to, listed supply and all that good stuff, you can put in what percentage you want, and like of all these different things. This is a new feature on here, and this filters was not always here. I usually just like to look at stuff that's over the last 7 days or last 24 hours, which is really nice. You can sort it by volume. You can see like the different projects. Like I was saying, it's the crypto dick butts has just recently surged. And this was a popular project like several months ago. People thought it was dead, maybe hasn't done much in 6 months, and then all of a sudden a tweet came out, and then all of a sudden it started surging. Maybe people were looking for another meme thing to hop into and just invest in. I have no idea. That's the frustrating thing about Web3 is that you can't always really understand what's causing a pump. And that frustrates me a lot. I get really frustrated with that. I like want to bash my head into the wall because I'm kind of like, what? Why didn't I see that pump happening? Why couldn't I not pick up on that earlier on? But I always tell people don't beat yourself up about that. Best part is, in my opinion, is let's see, listings change. Let's see. I think they've renamed this. So listings changed is like a really big time indicator of potential movement in a floor price. What this is saying is number of listings. If you have a negative, obviously green means good. Negative 193 means that there are 193 sales or delistings that are happening versus listings. So let me break it down a little bit even further. Say a project's at 0. Someone buys one of those NFTs. It goes to -1. 2 people list the NFTs after that. It all of a sudden goes from -1 to 0 to +1. Once you start getting more into the plus side, that means more listings are coming in. What does more listings mean? More listings means that there's a heavy supply and not enough demand. When you start seeing the negative, all of a sudden you flip to the other side of the economics, that there's more demand versus the supply. And that's what causes a price to go up or to go down. This is just like basic economics with the stock market, with any kind of limited edition like art or anything, shoes, any of that stuff. When there's a ton of demand for it and there's less supply, usually people are going to ask for a higher price. And so when you look at this is not always the only indicator that will say a project's going to go up in price, but a lot of these projects are doing well that you're seeing more delistings and sales happening versus the number of listings that are coming in. So in my opinion, I love this little bit of analytics, this little bit of data, and this is really good. Flips.finance It's an amazing like site, and like I said, it doesn't have everything. It doesn't have every project, but it does have the ones that are the most popular. Excuse me, and that you're hearing the most about. So if you look through that, that's always a good thing. This is actually another. This is new. This is the listings change percentage over the last 24 hours, which is like really a cool thing. So it just kind of gives you a percentage base instead of just looking at just the numbers. 1 second, I gotta sneeze. Okay, and we're back. So yeah, this is another one that I really liked on here is this percent listed. And this is a little bit skewed for some things because you'll look at it and you'll be like, oh my goodness, look at how low these are. A lot of these are staking projects. When you have a staking project, it pulls it off of OpenSea and it makes it so that it's like, oh, this is no longer can be listed. So some of these are skewed, like you're looking at EtherOrgs and you're looking at LinksDAO and you're looking at Wolf Game and all this stuff. I don't know everything about all of these ones, but when you're looking at these, most of the time that has something to do with like staking. And they used to have an indicator that would let you know it was an asterisk next to it. I don't know if they have it anymore, but you can look at the percent listed and you want to like see stuff that's like low percent listed. When you have a less listed, guess what? More volume towards that with lower listings is going to cause a price to usually go up or go down based on the number of the amount of supply on there. So I love looking at this. It's always nice to come on here. You can look at the floor change. You can kind of be like, okay, these are actually going down. When you're looking at all these projects, you're not seeing too many good ones. You're looking at NFT Worlds. Of course, that's down based on the news of saying that they're, Minecraft is saying fuck off to NFT Worlds, but they are working towards, getting a better platform. Might take some time, but Psychedelics Anonymous is definitely getting into like a really funny low range, which is not indicative to the team there. It's more of just a cause of the market going into like a weird downturn. So that is that with same with Moonbirds. Moonbirds is down under 15 now. Wow. So that CC the whole creative stuff with like the as far as going with like the intellectual property of owning it and people doing it, I guess people are having a much more negative reaction to that than most people. So that's going down. If you ever wanted to get into that ecosystem, like I said, that announcement has nothing to do with the roadmap or anything to do with the team there. That just has to do with people being able to use any kind of Moonbirds for any kind of thing, like any possible thing. So you could like you don't have intellectual property ownership over that NFT, which is like kind of strange. I'm not going to get back into that. We talked about it at the earlier part. Um, yeah, like I said, like Psychedelics Anonymous is in such like a crazy buy range. Being this low, this is just the markets over the last like week or so. Actually, a lot projects have gone even lower. And you're looking at Moonbird's oddities are even lower. It's under 1 ETH now. So some of these things, if you believe in the team and you believe in the what they're doing and the roadmap and all that stuff, this is a good time to buy in. I mean, we're looking at like Worldwide Webland. It's like at 0.44. If we click on this and we look at the max, I mean, this was up to well over for a long time. It was at 2, in a little bit over 1.5 to 2 range, and this is a really popular one. And it has since like the market has gone down, has gotten, and it's at an all-time low right now, about 0.44. That's the first time it's been that low since never. So um, that's just goes to show you kind of what the market's looking like right now. Like I said, we will do these. I can do more of these each week. We can do multiples a week, whatever you guys want. I'm trying to make sure that we're adding value to Godjira instead of yeah, since December last year. I'm not sure why it's not showing me that far. I got it set to max, but yeah, so we're looking at that. I just want to click on show you guys what it looks like when you click on an individual project. This is great, all good stuff right here. Tells you all the information you want, total supply, what the mint price was, the royalty fee, and all this stuff should go into. Royalty fee is something that people forget to look at And when you see projects, some have 12.5% royalty, that means that you need to, well, that's 10% plus the OpenSea 2.5%. So when you're looking at that 12.5% royalty, you need to make sure that's going to go up way higher, or you're going to be looking at selling and thinking that you're doing well when in reality you're actually losing money. And I feel like a lot of people that are newer in here, they kind of don't, look at that. And it's a bit frustrated because people are like, hey, I'm selling it for higher than what I bought it for, but they don't realize that royalties sometimes can be really high. One thing I will say is the reason why I'm buying and selling things on the Yuga Labs ecosystem is really great is because they have the lowest royalties out of anyone. I think it's like 2.5% or something. So when you buy and sell a Bored Ape, not much is coming out of your of your income as far as when you're selling it, like coming out of your profits. So that kind of will let you know that it's like a good way for you to be able to, take profits a lot better. And you need to understand that 12.5% is a lot. It's just such a high it's such a high number, and it will really cut into profits. Yeah, kind of touched in on this. This is one of those free tools. This one, same with this NFT Inspect.xyz, all free tools. I tell you guys, I kind of showed you guys a little bit information about it, and I want you guys to kind of hop in here and look at it yourselves, and maybe find out some things that I didn't talk about and whatnot. And so, yeah, if you're looking at this, back to this NFT Inspect, which is, I think I want to harp on it a little bit more, is because it's like it's an analytic, it's a set of data that nobody really uses. I don't ever talk to anyone being like, hey, like this project is like having a much higher number of profile pictures, and people are changing, and you can also see percentage change. And I really would like to talk to this team to add some more things to it, to maybe have a section where it's like, over the last 7 days, these are the people, these are the projects that have the highest number of changed unique profile pictures. That kind of information would be really good. It's easy for you to be able to hop on and kind of understand what's going on with the like Goblin Town. You could have picked up on that if you would have seen a percentage. You'd be like, oh my gosh, this number of people is changing over to this profile picture. Actually, this brings me to a really good point that I just said. So it's just click Azuki. This is not anything to do with it. It's just the one that's up here. On the left side is saying that the number of people that are changing to Azuki. On the right side is saying the number of people that are changing from Azuki to a different project. So if I highlight Moonbirds, the number of Azuki people that are changing over to Moonbird profile pics over the last month is 58. You can always change this set of data to be last week or last 24 hours. If you see something up here that's like popping up in the last 24 hours and a lot of blue chips are changing over to something, that could be indicative of a floor price going up. And so if you look over last month, the main thing that Azuki is changing over to is the Moonbirds, which is 58 is a very high number, 31 for CloneX. And you're seeing all like the big major blue chips up here. Somehow or another, PXN is sliding in here down at the bottom. Um, but you can look at this, you can tell that CloneX, and when you see a lot of these blue chips changing over, a high number changing over to an Azuki, or like I was saying, is you can use this analytics to base your trading, or if you want to keep projects. I hope this is all making sense to everybody, but I think this like flow chart is like really cool. It's profile flow is what they call it on here. It's, if you look at the description, it's visualize how Twitter profile pics are moving, what collections are people coming to Azuki, and what collections are leaving Azuki. Sometimes you can follow smart money, like we were saying before, is when you're following smart money and you're looking at, say, if you're looking at Azuki and you're like, oh, all these Azukis are changing over profile picture. It doesn't mean that they're selling their Azuki. It just means that Azuki as a whole, as a community, could be talking about these projects and moving over to that, which could also be indicative of a floor price movement. So if a lot of people are going over to something, like I said, you see more Teslas out there, guess what? More people want to buy Teslas. You see more commercials about Teslas, you want to buy a Tesla. If you see more people like wearing Yeezys at the grocery store, then you want to buy Yeezys. Exact same psychological way to look at all this stuff. So Like I said, this is another one of those tools that I think is really amazing. Once again, shout out to Tata. He kind of like opened my eyes to this, and we touched on it, and then I dove headfirst into it, and I've been really looking into, all of this. So, yeah, this will be. We'll leave this up. We can also add these links to. I think we have a section here. I think. I don't know if we have a section anymore for all these links, but that's something if we don't have useful tools, that area, if you go to useful tools, I need to add this one, the NFT Inspect, into the useful tools for you guys to understand that. Definitely click on the link that I put in there. You can scroll up. You can check it out. Swashy has to go. Okay, if it's possible for someone else to stream my screen, I'm not sure if it's still maxed out or not. I can't tell how many people are watching it right now, but if someone has the ability to share my screen, I would really appreciate that. Um, I don't know how much longer we'll be going. We're over 2 hours now, which is completely fine. Feel free, like I said, I mean, I can talk forever and ever and ever. And don't worry, guys, I'm hydrating, drinking coffee and water. A good, nice ratio to water to coffee makes me go for a very long time. So feel free to come off mute if you guys want to ask any questions. This is for you guys. This is not for you guys to just listen to me ramble about other random shit. I just feel like some of these tools are really underutilized, and I feel like a lot of people could really, um, like we were talking about before with soda, is that like people don't know where to look. They're kind of just like lost, and they need this stuff much like it needs to be more well known and like promoted out there. All these really good free tools. I don't think that analytics tools are promoted enough. I do see a lot of people opening and starting projects to have a new analytical tool, but I think it's I think we need to have more widespread adoption with people using free tools, not just paying for NFT nerds, and it can really make the whole entire everybody in this in the Web3 a lot smarter, and it will help out a great deal. So yeah, I hope this stuff you guys understand why I'm kind of highlighting these different things about profile pictures, because I think that's one of the biggest things. Like on Twitter is like literally the social media platform of Web3 space. When you see a bunch of people on there tweeting with a certain profile picture, and it's all over your feed, guess what? It's like a weird psychological thing where like when you see it a lot, you all of a sudden want it. It's like you're watching like TV. You see the commercial for McDonald's like 50 times. Whether you like McDonald's or not, randomly you're going to be like, I really want to eat some McDonald's and I don't know why. And that's just because of like, seeing it so much and the repetition of it, it makes you want something when you don't like actually want that thing. Same thing with Twitter. When you see tons of profile pictures of people in your feed and influencers changing profile pictures and you see that kind of stuff, then all of a sudden you really want to have that as a profile picture. And it also could be indicative of a movement in the floor price, whether it's up or down. Up being more people switching to the profile picture, down meaning people are switching from that profile picture to something else. So you're seeing it a lot less. This also is really cool. About all of the analytics with Azuki. You can like look at Azuki. It tells you information about it. Tells you about the different members of the team, but also it tells you people with an Azuki profile picture, how healthy or much they how much reach they have. And so it's followed by 7.5%. It's basically saying like by the community, other people with that profile picture, the number of people that are following them in the Web3 space. 7.4% is seems low, but it is actually like pretty damn high when it comes to like the Web3 space as a whole. Um, and this is all like I was telling you, good stuff for you guys just to dive into, because you might be able to look at a certain set of data and find like a little bit of a commonality with floor price movement and whatnot, and it might help you to be able to um, you know learn to buy and sell a lot better. So this is actually really cool, and this is when you click on this, you can see the number of people that are spotlighting, which means that these are the number of people that are switching from their Azuki from something to an Azuki profile picture. It tells you the exact amount of time. You can also highlight here. You can click the their Twitter, and you can go look at it. This is another bit, this is just some more stuff to dive into. If I tried to explain this on a voice chat, it would be a little bit more difficult because not everyone values this information the same. Azuki is another one of those projects as a blue chips that are down below 10 ETH, which is normally much higher than 10 ETH. A lot of blue chips are doing that exact same thing, such as Doodles, Azuki, and CloneX are all under 10 ETH for the first time in a long time. Even during the bear market, most of those were staying above 10 ETH. Doodles, in my opinion, Doodles and CloneX probably have the highest. Um, you know, I'd say that they're probably one of the safer bets to go on there. In a bear market, nothing is truly a safe bet. But Doodles, just recently hired Pharrell, doing really big things in the space. They have the duplicator that's going to play a big role in the ecosystem. CloneX obviously has tons of different drops and different airdrops that they're getting, and always is providing value to their holders. So those are always good things to look at. Obviously, Azuki's done really well, even with the FUD from Zagabond. It's actually quite impressive how strong the community is. Um, the FUD was just basically like Zagabond has had projects that have failed that they said that he not rug pulled, but it was like a slow rug and then just kind of like walked away. But obviously he's not walking away from Azuki because Azuki's doing really, really, really well right now. Yeah, so I've touched on a bunch of these different tools and tried to dive deep in here. One thing that I have a very big problem with is I kind of overload you guys with information. Feel free, once again, to type in chat or to hop off mute and ask any questions if you guys need. Love you too, JT. I don't know if you hopped off or not. I just saw your messages. JT's is my favorite AMA host out there. He's a legend. Any projects that talk to me, I always tell them to go to the Ascendants, mainly because he's one of the best hosts out there. Will take care of you guys at an AMA. He's the fucking man. Also a Gen 2 holder. A lot of really big prominent names out there that are really smart people own Godjira's Gen 2s and Genesis and even Jiraverse, and I love seeing that. And a lot of these people. One thing I gotta say is there's one guy, I don't know if he's still here. No, he's not here anymore, but his name is Blamunko or something like that. He is the guy that won my when in I think it was the end of December, early January. Shan let everybody give away one spot to the Gen 2s, one whitelist spot to Gen 2s to kind of like help their Twitter following out. And the guy that won my giveaway, he minted and he is still a holder here. He's a diamond hander and he's still holding here. And I think that's like absolutely impressive because he won that giveaway at the end of December, early January, and it's now August 9th and he's still a holder. So like shout out to that guy. He's the man. Talk about a freaking diamond hander. That's the diamond handing master right there. So that's incredible stuff. If you guys want me to touch on anything else more, feel free to like let me know. All that good stuff. And Harsh Ultrabot, you're the man. You always come through and you're always supporting me and supporting Godjira. And so like people that have always supported me through and through are always gonna get a shout out, and I always remember your names, and will always take care of you guys. And like I can't tell you guys enough how thankful I am to have you guys out here, to sitting in here, and I hope that honestly I hope that you guys like pass off this information to everyone else. Like I'm not trying to be like, I want the whole space to become educated as a whole, and I feel like when more people are educated, it helps like buying trends. When people are uneducated, they sell at a loss and they buy at the highest point and do all this stuff constantly. Um, and that's like a big issue, and I'm not the only one that can teach this stuff. You guys can feel free to do it. One thing I will teach you guys before we go, I'm not saying we're leaving right now, but I'm going to show you guys something else. So in Twitter, one really cool thing about Twitter is with NFT Inspect is if you come here, you can click download Chrome extension. You take us to the Chrome store and you can get the extension. So what this will do is when you're on Twitter, if there's a project that like is registered and is part of their inside their database, which not everything is, and I want more projects to get inside there. So if you're a holder of a profile picture that deserves to be on NFT Inspect, which I think everything should be on there, it will come up with this little. I'm sure you're looking at my Twitter right now, and you're like looking at this little Ethereum sign right here, and you're like, what the hell is that? I've never seen that before. That has to do with the extension. If this is an Ethereum project profile picture, it'll have the Ethereum symbol. If it's one for Solana, it'll have the Solana symbol here. So if you click right on that, you wait, it'll bring up this little like pop-up screen, which is really awesome. And this is all tied with the NFT Inspect. It'll let you know, like, Chris Burt, which is like he's a Jira supporter as well as a Llamaverse supporter, and he's always around and always been an integral role in like just like supporting good projects all the time, and I just like love it so much. But it'll give you all this analytics. It literally tells you last time he sold this, he actually minted it. This will tell other people what price that they bought it for. You can also check with the owners, check to see their OpenSea and all that good stuff. You can also see other people in the community. This will rank people by their reach. So Llamaverse obviously is going to be the highest one. This is NFT Llama. This is Heliquin. I think this is Gavin B. So he's obviously a Zooverse, Llamaverse holder, and all this good stuff. He's a huge supporter. He has a heavy reach. It looks like that's how I usually kind of rank these. But you can click connect with 250 members, and you can go through here, and you can look through all of this information, and you can see their inspect rank, which tells you basically the rank of like all of the a rank of the collections that are clicked on the most. So like it's like if there's a Llamaverse profile picture that's clicked on a bunch of times, it's going to move up the higher rank. Unique profile pictures at 1283, which is actually really impressive since the collection's only 4,444, and or maybe it's just 4,000. Yeah, it's just 4,000. It says it right here. Duh. Actually says it right here too. Wow. Damn, I'm losing my edge, I guess. But it tells you the floor price, it tells you total volumes, and there's gives you all this good information. It tells you other people on the team, Brother Ali, Heliquin, NFT Llama, tells you all about them. You can go click them, follow. I do follow these people, so I don't know why it's telling me I can follow them again. Maybe it's not necessarily um, tied to my Twitter, but it just gives you top community members, and as far as all the people that have a profile picture, who has the highest percentage of being followed by those people with Llamaverse profile pictures, which obviously NFT Llama almost has a higher percentage than Llamaverse itself, which is actually pretty impressive. You can click see more, and this will take you to the NFT Inspect. It'll take you to their page. And so just like I was saying, if you're going through Twitter and you're looking at all this different, all these different things, and you're going down through here and you want to be like, oh, wow, yeah, this is on there. Man, I've been seeing this kind of profile picture. Then you can click on this and just get all the good information. Just like I said, it's a whole different set of analytics that you can use that coupled with the information that you find on flips.finance, coupled with the information that you find on NFTnerds, and when all those things align and they all have bullish signs, it's a really good idea for you to invest in that project, if you believe in the project. But as we scroll through here, why does this not have? This should have a thing. Yeah, see, mine has it right here, so we can click on that. We can look at the top community members here. This is Godjira's Love. This is actually the PG. This is our main site. Here's G. Here's Sav, Amresh, me, Maverick.
You know,
Is it only me? But we don't hear you, Zero, anymore.
Yeah, I'm just going out and in, out and in. There's no sound. Zerocool. We can't hear you. I'm not sure if he hear us, but I don't hear him.
Yeah, I don't see the green around his profile picture when he's speaking.
You guys, what?
Now, yes, yes.
Yeah,
My
all
headset
good.
died. How long was that? Shit.
2 minutes, I think.
Oh, okay. So I guess my headset died. My bad. Thank you so much, Soda, for saying something, and I appreciate you guys for popping off mute to let people know that that was going on. Glad it was only 2 minutes. Damn, that could have been really bad if I was jabbering for a long
Yeah, I
time.
thought you were getting your coffee right now, and you will come back and like.
No. I got my coffee. I'm good to go. I appreciate you guys looking out for that. Like I said, I'm glad. Are you rugged? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Got looking out for me because I can't look out for my own self. And yeah. So I was just kind of just like talking about the all the different things, and just a second ago I was talking about this tweet right here that kind of goes in line with what I was talking about with Moonbirds. Is that they came out and they were saying, hey, you're not allowed to use Moonbird stuff because you guys don't own the intellectual property. And they took down that Night Moonbirds project that was like the first derivative that was doing really well. And they got that taken down from OpenSea. And then here we are a couple months later, them saying, hey, that shit doesn't matter. It's totally fine. Anyone can do anything. And so King Blackboard, when a guy like this comes out and is obviously when you have a bored ape as your profile picture, people listen to you a little bit more. He also has 46,000 followers, and I actually think that he has a pretty damn good reach when it comes to not sure. I got see. This is about me needing to like kind of like like look more about. That's not it. Let's see. I don't know. I think he has really good reach as far as like all the people that the different communities that he's able to that are like picking up and clicking on his profile, and he has almost 50,000 followers. So when you come out with a tweet like this is basically like calling them. He's calling them an NFT Judas. Which is just saying that they basically doing the bait and switch, saying one thing 3 months later, saying a completely different, like literally singing the complete opposite tune, and that's never a good thing. That's one of those things that people have a really big problem with is projects saying something, promising something, and then kind of falling back on their promises. Um, but yeah, so this extension is easy. Like I'm gonna go back over it. If you go to NFT Inspect and you're just sitting on this page, if you click on, actually, if you just click the Chrome extension button right here, it will show you a little 20-second long video, just kind of what the Chrome extension does, and then you can go to the Chrome store and download it. This is, to my knowledge, is very trusted. It's completely safe to download, to get on and use. So if you kind of like what I was showing you with the Twitter and being able to scroll down through and being like, oh wow, here's this guy got a Moonbird. Let me click the Moonbird, and then you can see, like it's an interesting thing to see, like, oh, this guy actually minted his Moonbird, and you can see their rarity ranking, and you can also connect with the other members of the Moonbird community. Kevin Rose obviously has the highest following. He is the founder of the team. 33% of people. Yeah, I mean, I went over all this stuff. I don't have to go back over it. It's definitely all good analytics, and I just like love this stuff so much. I just love when you can get more and more information to help guide you on your, because it's like really you're spending thousands of dollars oftentimes with some of this stuff, and you should have every bit of information at your fingertips. So what I say, NFT Inspect, learn it, dive deep into it, learn what you can get out of it, and I always tell people to go based off of their buying strategy. You know, some people like to do momentum plays. They like to look at projects that have a lot of volume in like the last couple hours or last 24 hours and try to buy into a momentum. And you know, momentum oftentimes it causes prices to go up when you have a high volume and you don't have as many listings coming in. Usually the floor price will start going up, and that's something that you kind of like want to look at, and all this good stuff about Twitter. This kind of plays into the psychology. I'm sure um, Josh could probably even talk more about this, all this kind of stuff about, you know, just the fact that, you know, psychology plays heavily into whether or not people want to buy stuff, and psychology plays heavily into whether people want to FOMO into things, buy things based on seeing it a lot, you know, all that good stuff. You guys completely understand. It's not like a foreign or a crazy concept, but you can kind of wrap your minds around this. But if there's anything anyone wants me to go over, any questions at all concerning anything, not just the market or anything like that, if you guys want some questions about what's going on with Godjira, like I said, is I can't always answer everything, not just because I don't know the answer to it, but also because I don't want to leak things. Shane and myself have been really bad in the past about leaking information. I won't answer any questions about the snapshot. There's tons of information about Jiraverse on the Medium article. We spent a long time getting that written up in detail. More information from that Medium article that's not included in that article will be presented in the coming days and weeks. All your questions will be answered. We will have town hall on this Sunday. If you check out the events, please scroll up to the top of the text channels here in Godjira and look at the different events. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Like I said, we're gonna be bringing more and more of this kind of stuff. I'm still gonna be bringing AMAs from projects that we have whitelist spots that are given to us because I want to educate you guys, and also want to give a platform to good projects that are coming in and giving us lots of spots to be able to kind of educate us and teach us about their project. Oftentimes people enter in every single giveaway, which that's completely normal, but then they win a giveaway and they're like, "Oh, I won a giveaway in Godjira. That means that I should mint this." That's not always the truth. So you want to make sure that you're educating yourself on this stuff. The best way to educate yourself is to look at the project, check the website, check the Twitter, check the Discord, then come to the AMA and ask the founder questions. I appreciate when people come in and ask really hard questions because oftentimes I'm the only one doing that, but it's also really good to hear from the community itself. So I appreciate that stuff. Remember, we got a town hall on Sunday. We got mental health with Josh on Saturday. Even if, like, I gotta say, even if you're not over here struggling with, like, you know, mental health with what's going on with the bear market and all that good stuff, like, come in there. You could definitely learn a lot from what's going on, and it could help play into trading strategies and just kind of just overall, just like kind of like learn how to maybe have some better practices to try to like kind of help with your mental health. Because I will say that mental health is such a big thing in Web3 for me and for me in general. You know, buying stuff kind of sometimes when you pay a lot of money for something and then you're like, you know, obsessed with it, check the floor price all the time, like every 30 minutes you're checking the floor price, or you have NFTnerds up. That's not healthy for your mental health. Josh could possibly, if you have something like that, you could ask him questions on how to combat, you know, all that kind of stuff, mental fatigue as well, burnout. Maybe you work for other projects and you're a supporter of Godjira. Definitely something that's big in all teams, all founders. I don't care who you are. No one's immune to burnout. It's definitely something that's really very widespread in the NFT community. Friday we got fun and fitness with Sav, which is going to be a lot
Yes,
of amazing
exactly.
stuff. Fitness tips as well as diet tips, as well as fun games potentially playing different games for whitelists, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Good Friday, get ready for the weekend type of thing. On Thursday we have PG community updates with G. I call him G Unit. He's the fucking man. He's our like head mod when it comes to the community. He is definitely this person that you should ask any questions to, or concerns or suggestions concerning the Discord server itself and the way the community is. Then we got tomorrow, we have collab talks with Groot. Groot's one of our head brand managers, and you can bring projects that you would like to see Godjira get, and we'd like to and he will also tell you about projects that we're collaborating with, projects that we're targeting, all that good stuff. Where everyone's always open to suggestions. Nobody's perfect. The NFT space is humongous, and it's nearly impossible for people to understand and to learn about every single thing. Like I was saying, sometimes people bring up projects like the rare Pepe, 8 Pepe thing that I didn't really know too much about, but we're looking at, we were taking a look into that project, and that's why I love that Soda came up in here and brought that up, because it was actually a really good way for me to teach you guys about the momentum and all that good stuff. Another thing actually that just popped up on here that I will say is, if you're looking at these projects, if you're looking at these different NFTs, if you see this one with an exclamation point with a red circle around it, that means that's a compromised NFT that's basically been flagged for suspicious activity, which basically means that it is a project, it's a wallet that got hacked, an NFT was stolen, and then it was sold, and then it gets flagged by OpenSea. This is definitely something that's really good for people to understand, because you can list it on X2Y2 and looks rare, but you cannot list it on OpenSea because they have blocked it. And I don't agree. I agree with this method 0%. I think it's stupid. It doesn't ever punish the hacker. It always punishes the person after the hacker. It makes no fucking sense to me. Um, so it's just kind of, BS, but I'm ready for some rest. It's like it's like just 45 minutes past noon here where I am, or actually 11. It's almost noon where I am. So we are definitely coming to a point where I would like people to chime in if they. And we got Sav just posted something that we want to go raid. Everyone, make sure you go and raid that. I'll put it into the voice chat as well. Thank you, Sav. I appreciate that. I just went and voted. Make sure you go and vote on this. Go vote for Godjira. Let's really like show up. And it looks like we have a lot of Godjiras already popping in there, which is absolutely incredible. It would be huge for the way this project looks if we beat out Moonbirds, Clone X, and Doodles. That'd be huge. So make sure you guys get out there and vote for it. Godjira having to do with Gen 2, Jiraverse, and the Genesis, I would assume. So get out there and do that. Just to do a little bit of an overview and to recap on everything, we talked about NFT Inspect. We talked about flips.finance. We talked about NFTnerds. We also talked about the NFT Inspect tool, the overlay or the Chrome extension that you can get, so that you can get all that good analytics from different projects that are using as profile pictures and who's talking about what. Um, there's still a lot of stuff to digest. I do apologize if it's information overload. As always, I can't thank you guys enough for stopping by and just being a part of that. Thank you for supporting Godjira from the bottom of my heart and the team's heart. We appreciate you guys so much. It's like actually insane how much we appreciate it. You have no idea how appreciative the team is behind the scenes, and just out there, out in the open, just like how I am. I'm voicing the opinions of the team right now as far as appreciation goes. So we guys, like I said, thank you guys so much. If you guys ever have any questions about anything I taught, you can usually at me in this voice channel or for any channels, or you can send me a friend request. If I miss your friend request, please tag me and say, hey, Zerocool, I sent you a friend request. I wanted to ask you something about what you taught, or anything, even if it doesn't have to do with, Project Godjira or with Web3 at all. I'm trying to be more of like making this like an open forum for people to talk about life, as well as, talk about, you know, What is the what project is that with? MetaMask encountered an issue. Oh, you're just talking about with MetaMask. That did not happen to me today. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I'm not sure. Have you tried restarting your browser? Yeah. I'm really not sure. I haven't seen that error ever on mine, so I apologize for being no help with that. You can restart the laptop. I can do a little bit of research on it, and I can tag you if you haven't figured out any solve for that. But yeah, we're coming up on the 3-hour marker, I think it is. If you guys have questions, pop in here. This is all good stuff that I've been teaching about. I had this NFT Go thing right here, but I feel like I'm kind of overloading everybody right now. That gives a whole nother set of analytics and data to analyze and to help kind of guide your buying and selling of NFTs, and investing, I should say, is better because not all the time people are just buying and selling. They're investing in a project because they believe in it long term, and they want to get more out of that project than just getting ETH out of it. So I always have a hard time getting off of these VCs because I just kind of want to make sure that people feel like they're really comfortable, and I'm reachable and I'm approachable, and I won't make fun of anyone if you ask a question that's already been answered, or or you think it's a stupid question. I guarantee you, if it's a stupid question, you're not the only one with that question. And I don't label it as a stupid question. It's always just a question. So, stupid question is the question that you do not ask. There is no if, ands, or buts about it. The only question that's stupid is the one you don't ask. So, here's your last chance. I'm gonna give like 10 minutes to kind of just chill. And if anyone wants to pop up here and ask anything or do something in chat, feel free to. I will go over anything a second time. If you guys didn't understand the momentum chart, didn't understand NFT Inspect, didn't understand flips.finance or any of that good stuff, I am more than happy to go over anything again. You have 10 minutes. I'm going to like tap this off at 3 hours just because I'm starting to ramble, and I feel like I'm also giving information overload to people. So I hope this has been good and enjoyable. I appreciate you guys so much for coming out here and open up this dialogue and just chatting with me today. So yeah.
Yeah, Zerocool, thank you very much for the long time you spent. You talked a lot. You need a rest. Thanks everybody that's joined, and we had a lot of information, of course, updates about the market, updates about everything, and the perfect application that you already shared with us. Some of them I don't know them, and it's also great. I already noted them. NFTnerd, of course, it's the best tool out there. You already explained a lot. I remember also in the past you always was talking about NFTnerd and explaining for us this kind of tools. We hope that we will explain the Jira tools soon
Yep.
before I get my subscription
I know.
ready.
That's I will try
We
to
hope,
find out more information about it. Like I said, as I know that you guys want a timeline, and it's very difficult in Web3 to give
of
timelines
course.
because there are things well out of our project's control that are going on, and sometimes we can't always plan for that, and it's frustrating for you guys, and it's frustrating for us because all we want to do is give it to you. But what we don't want to do is give you a shitty product. And that's the
Sure.
main thing, is we don't want to give you something that has a bunch of bugs in it, and then we're going through an even bigger headache than just saying, hey, it's not out yet. So when I have information, I actually talk to Awen pretty much daily, and he will let me know. I will make sure that we can get some people beta keys in here. If you guys show up to these AMAs, I like, definitely am looking and remembering people's names who are participating and coming in here and trying to help educate the Jira fam. And if you're doing that, then you deserve a beta key for helping out and being a part of it. And it's going to be great because you're not going to pay ETH for it. You're going to be paying Jira token for it, and
Yeah,
Genesis will be taken care of as far as that goes. But Gen 2s will be able to just use the token that they're generating to be able to buy it. So
perfect.
that's good stuff. It will be amazing. Trust me on that. And I will only be teaching Jira tools when I come in here, and it will be no more NFT nerds. I will not resubscribe to it. And I will make sure that I bitch and moan as much as possible if there's parts of it that they're not good, or if they need to add things to it. I'm gonna be the biggest person just kind of pushing that whole thing. So
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time. Yeah, thanks everybody. Thank you, Zerocool, for that long time you spent. Yeah,
huge shout
and
out
it's
to
recorded.
yeah, it's exactly it. It's a huge shout out to you, HO. I'm gonna have an MP3 recording of this for people who don't want to watch. Um, Oh, for people who don't want to watch the YouTube, I do have this with video being recorded on my OBS, and I will upload that to my YouTube video, and I will later today have that, and I will make sure I add everyone. I will reply to my thread in the team announcements with the YouTube link for you guys and the MP3. And this is going to be the standard for my AMAs. And if other people have AMAs that require video and people need to see things, then that will be also be with that. But every single project, not every single project, every single AMA with team members and with founders of other projects. So I will be making sure that we're recording these because I know the biggest issue is that this timing right now in Australia, uh, it's like 1, 2, 3 a.m. in Australia, and in Singapore and Southeast Asia areas and China and Japan and all that stuff. And we have a big contingency of Godjira holders from there. It's really tough for me to do things on a strategy. It's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning is like 6 o'clock in the morning for me is the best time to do it so that Southeast Asia and Australia are able to see it. But then we have the United States being like, yo, it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm sorry, I love Godjira, but I'm just not waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning for an AMA. It won't be nearly as educational. I'll be tired. I'll be yawning. I'll be ready to get the hell on out and go back to bed or something. So, like I said, the recording, you guys will be able to download the recording of this like pretty much right now. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up as far as the recording goes. This is your last chance to ask any questions right now. If not, then I'm going to stop the recording for the MP3. I will stop the recording for the YouTube, and yeah. Yes, that's it. Purple Ninja NFT. Yes, Purple Fire Ninja NFT. That is exactly what the YouTube is. I will post the YouTube link directing you right to it. It will not be instant. It takes time. I want to have it on HD so that people can see what's going on in the video and all that good stuff. So that yeah, because we got a lot of good information in there. A lot of stuff was talked about. Last chance. Right now, we got about 4 minutes left. And then I will stop the recording. If you guys want to download the recording, you will see the bot. The Me6 bot will pop up here inside chat, and it will let you know that you can download it. And yeah, love you guys so much. I can't express it enough. I hope you guys realize I'm not just saying this stuff. This is all like Zerocool through and through, passion. Much love to everybody out there. We're here for you guys. Yes, flips.finance is a free tool, completely free. It's like one of my favorite tools. I can go ahead and just like show you really quick if you're tuned into my stream, everything about it. It's just you basically come to flips.finance and it's going to come to this screen right here. And you can look at just all this amazing information. So many good analytics. One thing I was saying people to look at is percent listed, and then the listings change are really good bullish indicators or bearish indicators for projects. Um, just to do a little quick overview, the listings change is basically saying how many people are listing versus people that are delisting and selling. So if you see something in the negatives, this instance negative is very, very good. If it's in the green, it's really, really good. So this mini min club is basically saying that there's 208 sales or delistings. It's basically saying like this is the number of things that are coming off of the market that are not available on the market anymore versus what's becoming available. So when something's listed, you get a +1. If it's something's delisted, you get a -1. So, or a sale happens is also considered a delisting because then it comes off of the market. Hopefully that makes sense. Percent listed is another really good one. You know, it's a simple
Definitely.
supply and demand economic concept. It's basically saying when there's a low supply and then there's high demand, usually the floor price will start to come up. If there's a shit ton listed, it means that people are trying to get out of the project, and that's not it's a very bearish sign. When there's less things listed and there's volume coming in, that's a very bullish sign. Like I said, it's a simple economic concept that I'm sure you guys learned in school. It's not too difficult, but you know, sometimes we forget about these really easy concepts to kind of like help guide us through the NFT space. And NFT space, Web3 can be really daunting, and there's a lot of stuff, great stuff at our fingertips for you guys to use. So we're coming up here on the hour. We just hit 3 hours long. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. If you guys have no questions, I mean, I'm surprised. And does anyone not have any questions that they want me to take to the team or find out about what's going on? If I understand if you don't want to come off mute or whatever like that, that's totally fine. There's going to be a town hall, which I implore everybody to come to ask any questions concerning Jiraverse, anything that's outside the Medium article. I'm sure Shan and Jamie will be you know, letting people know more information about Jiraverse and the future of Jiraverse. So, like I said, it's just bear with us, hang tight. Yeah, I do have some people muted, but I told anyone that is server muted, it's because you have hot mic or background noise. If you need to come off mute because of that, feel free to tag me in the voice chat text channel. So tag it. If not, we're going to go ahead and stop the recording right at 3 hours. P6 bot has left the channel. Isn't the thing popping up?